loading up now. Give it a second to start the party. Stream will go out in a bit.
People are going to say, look.
And we are live. We're seeing it. Okay, welcome to the stream, everyone. We're going to get started here in just a second. I'm going to sign into my Talks account.
Okay.
That way we know and I can do stuff. So let me head to my channel here. Open the live stream. We're ready to go. And okay. I think we're ready to begin. I'm going to open it on my phone just in case. And I'm going to let you take us out. So ready, set, go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Talos of Talks podcast. I am your co-host, Louise Erickson. And here today is my husband and other co-host,
Hey.
Andrew Erickson.
Good to be here.
So how are you doing today?
Good. I'm glad we're doing this again. 2 podcasts in a week.
I know. It's
Isn't that much?
Pretty ambitious, but I think we can do this.
We can.
I mean, it's only like an hour.
As long as the Wi-Fi and the technology permits it.
Yes.
People are saying low audio. Should I get closer?
Is it my side?
I don't
'Cause
know.
I know last time it was too quiet.
You can get close. See how close I am?
Can I have it at my chin?
Other people are saying audio is fine, but regardless, I can see the audio levels. I know we're not peaking, but anywho, did you enjoy the last podcast, Don? Did you have fun?
I did. I mean, we were originally intending to talk for like an hour.
Yeah.
And we ended up talking for 2 hours. So yes, I enjoyed
Right.
it.
Which is longer than any tech podcast we've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. So that went quick, but they're still saying it's low, which is weird because I'm not doing anything different from last time.
Hello.
Bizarre.
Can you hear us? Maybe my thing's not plugged in correctly.
They're saying they just can't hear you that well. I would just say get close, son.
How much closer can I get?
No, don't move your head. Move your mic close.
Can you hear me, guys?
You see how close mine is?
Test 1.
Yeah.
Test 2.
Mm.
Too
There
close?
you go. There you go. Weird. Okay. I don't know what I did differently this time. Let me hear it for a second.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
Maybe it's just
I don't know.
Jesus.
It's just
Jesus Kiros?
the mic has to touch your throat. This is the exact same audio setup we had last time, so I'm confused. No.
Oh.
Oh, that's hot. No, it's the exact same levels, but if it makes everyone feel better, I will turn up the channels themselves. Yeah, they're same as last time.
I think it might just be that one guy.
Okay.
If anyone else is having issues, let us know.
We'll leave it at that. Okay, now I feel like it's too high because I can see it on OBS, but
It's peaking.
okay. Yeah, it's peaking a little bit. It's better. Y'all can turn up your own volume until we get
Someone's
it's too
saying
loud.
it's too loud now.
Oh, great. Okay, I'm going to put it at around that distance. Can you try to match that if you can? Okay.
Yeah. As long as everyone else can hear me.
Yeah. No,
Because
they can
I'm
hear you
not-
fine. Just
I'm
turn
not
up your...
as loud of a speaker as you are.
No, you're not. But that's okay. I get used to it because in my videos, I'm used to getting angry and uppity. But,
Uppity?
yeah.
Is that a word?
Right. Yeah, I'm used to getting all energized and energetic when I'm filming my videos. So I have a
just need
natural...
to get on your level.
Yeah, get on my audio level. Your hair's going crazy today.
I know.
Anywho, okay. Do we want to do an intro again? Just now that we've got the audio
Okay.
figured out?
I mean, we can try it again.
Okay.
How's my hair? Crazy
Amazing.
toucan.
It's always amazing. Okay, you live people got that sneak peek audio set up. So this time, let's do it for real this time.
Okay. What am I supposed to say again?
Just that intro. I'll give you the countdown.
Okay.
Okay, ready, set, let's go.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Talos of Talks podcast. I'm your host, Louise Erickson, and I'm joined today with my husband, Andrew Erickson.
Hey, it's
How
good
you
to be
doing?
here.
Yeah?
It's going wonderfully. I've had a kind of interesting day so far at the office.
Tell me about it.
Have not done exactly what I was hoping to do today. There was a lot of work on things that was more just office maintenance related. As you know about, what did you bring to the office that's going to help us some of this maintenance problems?
Oh, I brought a humidifier. Is that what it is?
I don't think it's a humidifier because that pushes water into the air. This
Oh.
is a, what's the word?
Purifier.
Purifier, yeah.
Air purifier.
And we got that during the campfire,
Yeah,
I
a couple
think.
months ago,
Mm-hmm.
when there's a lot of smoke in the air, Drew's parents were gracious enough to
Mm-hmm.
get us our own air purifier so we weren't breathing in smoke
Right.
inside our house.
Mm-hmm. So now we're gonna need that here because we're having water problems,
Yay.
which kind of sucks.
It's raining so much here.
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing kind of in California. If you run into a situation where your building is not like structurally built correct and water can seep in,
Mm-hmm.
because it like never rains, you won't really know until it pours.
Right.
And by that time it's kind of too late, which is kind of our issue that we had, is like we thought we were good because,
Mhm.
you know, it's the problem in my office was always it's too hot. We never had a cold problem until recently. You
Yeah.
get chilly.
I'm very cold at
Yeah.
all times, but I wore fuzzy socks today. Can I show the audience? I'll just
Can
put
you kick your leg up that far? Oh my God. Look at that.
Whoops.
She did like a Karate Kid kick
Anyways,
right there. Holy crap.
So yeah, that purifier should help.
I think so. It helped a lot during the fire because even inside during the campfire, it would get smoky.
Yeah,
It
it
would
was
get
awful.
really smoky. So,
We were wearing masks inside the house, and it
Yes.
was not helping.
mhm,
Like your eyes would be burning while inside the house.
exactly.
Also,
And-
everyone's talking about my doggo shirt.
oh, you got a doggo shirt?
Yeah, it has a tiny dog on it.
Where does that
He
from?
says hi.
Even though we're not dog
It's
people?
a company called Pink,
Pink.
like
okay.
Victoria's Secret Pink. They
Oh,
sell
gotcha.
sweatshirts as well.
Okay, I know that. You know, the problem I've always had with pink stuff is every time I see them advertised, they're never the actual color pink,
Yeah,
which
it's
feels
a little
weird.
confusing.
Is there a story to that, or is that just their thing? They're just like, we're called pink, but we're not actually pink?
I actually don't know. I don't shop there that much. This was a Christmas present.
Okay. I thought that was going to be in an effort to be like something stereotypical,
Yeah.
like girls like pink. And what we
Maybe.
mean by pink is this brand.
I mean, have you seen that one meme that's like this guy, where he said, my girlfriend asked me to grab her pink backpack. And there was one backpack that said pink but was the color blue, and another
Oh,
one that
God.
was actually pink. It's like, which one?
That
What do
throws
I
everyone
do?
off.
Right.
I mean, there's certain brands that will intentionally name themselves something just so that they'll be used in a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like those smoothies called Naked.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, everyone's gonna just make bad jokes
Everyone
about
wants
us.
naked.
Yeah.
To drink naked?
No.
That sounds
Everyone's gonna say, "Ooh, do you want to get naked?" And then they hold up the bottle. It's like, "Oh, Dad, stop it." We got a super chat from question mark who says, "Hello from Sweden, Stockholm.
Ooh.
How have you been?" I've been good. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you. How
Appreciate
do you say
it.
hello in Swedish?
That's a good question.
I'm going to look it up right now.
All right, Louise is on it. We'll figure that out. Oh, look, you pronounced my last name correctly. Louise bows down.
Great.
Problem solved.
It's Hej.
Hej?
Did I say that right?
Oh, we're learning
H-
so much today.
EJ.
I feel bad. I feel like I should know.
Yeah, you're Swedish.
Do you?
should
Okay,
know.
we both have different countries in our heritage that we have forgotten the language of.
Oh, you can also say hello.
I mean, you can
Hello.
say that here.
Yeah.
Olo, to quote Megamind. But you've forgotten the language in the Philippines that you used to speak exclusively. English is
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
not her first language, if you can believe that, because
So-
you speak it fine.
Thank you. I actually grew up in the Philippines.
Hmm.
So Bisaya was my first language. And I started learning English when I was like 7 before I moved to
Yeah,
America.
right.
But yeah, as soon as I moved to America, I basically assimilated super well. And I was like, I don't want to speak Bisaya anymore. I
You
just
were
want to
great.
speak English.
Hmm. And now it's completely fallen off. You're like, you can't remember it at all.
Yeah. I'm really like ticked at myself.
That's trippy though.
Yeah.
Because I never knew how to speak Swedish, to be fair. Like I've never been there, even though a lot of my family's Swedish, they never taught it to me and they never thought I would ever use it, so I
Right.
don't know it. But you like grew up and were surrounded in it.
Yeah. And like half of my family still speaks it. Like my mom speaks it,
Yeah.
but she's just too lazy to reteach me. I mean, it's an entire language.
When you visited them last time, did it start to kind of come back to you a little bit? Like when you were around people who were
Well,
speaking it?
Not in the sense that you would think. Some people think like it would just automatically come back
Yeah, a little
without
bit.
having to relearn it. But I was like, actually, trying to relearn words, not just like by hearing, but by asking questions and like
Right.
having people translate things for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably only learned like 3 sentences.
Wow.
Back. I don't know.
Okay.
It's hard to relearn a language that you forget.
It's interesting that you remember like bits and pieces because
Yeah.
you'll teach me random words that you remember, like
What's my favorite thing to call you?
ungoy. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah. Ungoy.
Okay.
That means like monkey or gorilla.
Ungoy means monkey, so I'm her big gorilla, or I'm her big monkey.
And I
somehow.
also taught you guys how to say tubig, which means water.
Right. And Emily
And-
had a great, my
Yeah.
sister Emily had a great joke to go along with too big.
Yeah. What did she say?
She said, okay, let me get this down correctly. She said, oh yeah, she went, 70% of me is too big, which
Get
is
it?
funny
'Cause
if
it's
you,
water.
yeah, because 70% of her is water. But if you know her, you know how like often she brings up, it's like, I'm trying to lose weight. And
Yeah. No, she's
she
way
looks
too
great.
hard on herself. Yeah. She's way fitter than either of us.
For sure. I mean, she stay on top of it. The diet thing I think is the difficult part for me. I'm pretty good. I've grown up very fit, working out a lot. Both between when I was growing up, I had no problem in PE. I would always run the mile, and I would usually get under 8 minutes. And then I was probably in the best physical shape of my life when I worked at the Mandarin Ranch, because that was like every day I was doing physically strenuous stuff. But obviously when I started becoming a YouTuber, my job suddenly didn't involve workout that much. It involved just being as
It's a more sedentary lifestyle.
yeah, tied to a desk as much as possible, and that was considered work. So that by the time you're done with work, you couldn't work out that much. But what I mean is, like, I have no problem just kind of pushing myself physically to work out. Like, I enjoy riding bikes with my dad. We go to kind of this makeshift gym together that he started in his garage. The physical stuff doesn't bother me very much, but you've never, how do I say it? You've never been terribly interested in the physical workout kind of stuff.
Me?
You've never been enrolled into a gym or anything, and you still look amazing.
Oh, actually, I used to go to the gym a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When?
Because back in like senior year of high school, well, this kind of awkward, but like this guy I liked had a gym membership.
Oh, okay.
And we were like dating casually, and we would go to the gym together and go swimming and lift some weights.
Yeah.
So I'm that kind of person that can't work out by myself. Like
You
I
need
need it to be
mutual motivation.
yeah, like a social thing. Like I love hiking, but I could not do it by myself. Like I need
Yeah.
friends or Drew to do it with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of exercising. I just don't like doing it by myself.
I think you are far better on what I'm not very good at, which is eating healthy and kind of staying diligent with that. That's a difficult one for me, because I definitely admit my vice, as many people would call it. My issue is eating. I have the problem of just like, I grew up always like eating as much as I could, or eating whatever I wanted. Even when I was in high school, even when I worked on the ranch, I used to eat out a lot.
I remember
And-
that.
Yeah.
You'd go out with your friends a lot.
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
I enjoyed it, and it's difficult to quit doing that, because part of it's like I've poorly, and I regret this, but I've poorly trained myself to not feel full until I'm kind of bloated. I kind of enjoy that stuffed feeling
Right.
that isn't healthy, and that's why I've gained so much weight since
Right.
working at Tailosive. But
I think you think too highly of me, because I used to eat a lot of fast food.
oh, we
Like
both did, yeah.
KFC almost like 3 times a week. Those famous bowls. Oh my gosh, those were sinful, but so
Right.
delicious.
No, yeah, the difference is now you're always like, well, we have this at home, or we
Right.
can cook this, which is
Well,
good. Like,
It's not necessarily about being healthy though. I'm more of like being frugal. I want to get through what we have before buying more stuff.
that's true.
But yes, you're right. I'm trying to like instill more healthy meals for us. Like we had salad a couple nights ago, and then last night we had like pork chops and asparagus.
Right after the last podcast we recorded, we had a big bowl of salad,
Yeah.
and I don't think we're through it yet. We're still eating
Yes.
through it.
I think we just need
Yeah.
to like retrain ourselves to, crave good stuff
Right.
versus craving Chipotle.
Which is
Chipotle
difficult.
is really good stuff. And
Well,
actually,
you've like committed to.
Muddy Buddies.
Oh goodness, you brought that
This
with
was Drew's Valentine's Day present.
It was. Oh, it's
Hopefully
Valentine's Day today.
It is. Hopefully I'm not like a feeder. Am I a feeder?
No. But you do like making sure I'm well off. How do I say? Like you're good at making sure, like, hey, do you want to drink or do you want to eat this? Or just before we started recording, you were like, do you want to have dinner? And you were asking stuff like that. So, but you've also committed this year. You're quitting a bunch of restaurants. How many? We should count how many restaurants you haven't quit. Let's go down the list. What stuff have you decided in 2019 you're not going to eat from at all?
Okay, so last year, 2018.
Yeah.
So that my New Year's resolution for 2018 was to not eat at McDonald's, which I didn't do at all, and it was hard because Drew still went there, like with his friends, and actually on New Year's,
McDonald's is so good.
On New Year's, we went there together, and I couldn't eat anything.
Right. You were starting the challenge right there. Yeah,
so I've just continued that one. Not eating at McDonald's.
Still no McDonald's.
I gave up Taco Bell. That's probably like the hardest thing because I love Taco Bell.
And they're cheap.
Yeah.
Taco Bell, of all the fast food, has got to be one of the cheapest.
And they have Baja Blasts, which I have dreams about.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
What else?
I think you said no Wendy's.
I don't remember. I should have brought my little list.
You put everything on there. I remember you telling me. Well, Burger King sucks.
We don't even go there. We went there once since we've like dated.
I'll commit to that one. Okay, I won't have Burger King all of 20 or the rest of my life after the last couple trips to Burger King I had. There's some Burger Kings I've been to that were decent, but the one we have locally was just trash. And the last 3 times I went there, it was awful. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going here anymore.
Do you remember the one that we went to at my hometown? That one was pretty good. They have really like thick, salty fries.
Well, the fries were decent. I just remember it being like not particularly cheap, and it wasn't that good. Which is, they just seemed big. The burgers and the food there just seemed like huge. And that was it. It was just the shtick of Burger King was that everything is big, but it doesn't.
They have those paper crowns you can wear.
That's true.
That's like one
that makes the whole thing worth it. Yeah, exactly.
Well, for kids,
Navori. They're thick burgers.
Right.
That's the appeal. But no, in regards to eating healthfully, like I growing up really did not enjoy grapefruit. We had a grapefruit tree in our front yard. And for maybe it's different for some reason, but whenever I tried to get a grapefruit from the yard, I didn't love it, and I always thought it was too sour. And then last night, you bought the grapefruit.
Best grapefruit.
Oh, it was delicious. It was super delicious. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. Like,
it's sweet and tangy at
fleshy?
the same time. Oh yeah, the nubs. I don't know like the actual fruit part.
Yeah,
is a lot thicker and juicier.
It feels like they put a mandarin or something in like an enlargement machine.
Yeah.
Because the little fleshy parts to it are just big, and it tastes different. And for some reason that one was delicious. And I've never been a grapefruit fan.
So that one is called a pomelo.
Oh, okay, that's right.
I used to have pomelo a lot when I was living in the Philippines.
Okay.
And so it's kind of like a nostalgic thing for me. And it just tastes delicious, and it's like a certain kind of grapefruit that's much better than the rest.
Yeah, I think it must have been, because I don't think I had pomelos at my house because those felt really sour, whereas that was awesome. I loved that.
It tastes good, but it's so much work to peel it. Like those rinds are dang thick.
They are big. But we ate that whole thing really quickly.
Yeah, it was like
we were kind of ravenous about it.
Yeah. And it's good because you can eat it like by itself, or you can add salt or sugar, and just like.
Which do you prefer to add? For me,
I actually like it plain. Like,
really? Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you like?
Plain was pretty good. Did we have any plain?
Yeah,
or did you?
When I was like, when we were on the couch and I was just peeling it and handing it off to you, that was plain. But
gotcha.
Then you were like, I want some sugar.
That sugar on it did make it a lot better, but
just a teaspoon.
Real sweet, and that was our dessert technically.
Yep.
So,
we're trying to
which was good,
but we're bad at being.
For a fruit dessert, I think that's pretty A+. So next time we go to the grocery store, we might need to
get a couple of those.
Pick up some more pomelos.
They're $2 though. It's expensive for grapefruit.
I think they're worth it.
Yeah.
If
I
you can
guess
have
if
something
you
that's
enjoy it.
dessert but also healthy.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are the best at healthy, except they bring it up a lot,
Yeah.
which is
YOLO
good. It's kind of a mindset.
YOLO Plop, is that his name? Or is it Piop?
Piop.
YOLO Piop says, salt on fruit? What world are we living in?
I hadn't heard of it either until you told me that you did that. You were like, I
Yeah.
love getting this and
Well,
pouring
my
salt
mom
on
did
it. I was
that.
like,
Not just
salt?
like straight up salt, just like a little
Yeah, yeah.
pinch, like Salt Bay.
like salt, give it a little bit. No, I thought it's good. It's good. Give it a shot. Sometimes things that sound disgusting aren't really that bad. But one citrus we had in our garden growing up that you don't like is kumquats. You remember
Is
those?
that the tiny orange things that you eat whole?
They're not as spherical as an orange or a mandarin.
They look like fingers, kind
They're
of.
more well, they're not that wide, but they're more of an oval shape.
A
They're
thumb?
they're longer,
Like the tip of your thumb, maybe?
sort of, but they're very small. They're
How do you
about the
spell that?
size. I don't know. Careful what you search. If you want us to read the chat, just super chat. It's that easy. Otherwise, there's a lot of people listening to this after the fact, so don't spam. Spam never is a good idea in any live stream. Are you looking them up?
Yeah. So I don't understand what they're trying to be, honestly.
What they're trying to be? They're citrus.
Well, it looks like an orange, but you can't peel it. You just can you peel it?
Yeah, what developer is making kumquats? Tell them that they need to update their game.
Yeah. Like make it 10 times as big.
Have you tried one though?
I think I did. It was pretty sweet, except it's just not enough output for the amount of energy I'm
Yeah.
putting to
The
chewing
weird
it.
thing about kumquats is that you eat the skin with it. You don't peel them.
Yeah.
And
Think
the
of
skin is
another
actually
fruit.
the sweet part.
Think of another fruit that's like that. Well, apple, you eat the skin.
Yeah, that's true. I guess apples do technically have a skin.
Imagine if you ate a banana, just like
Oh,
chomp it.
that sounds gross. Would someone try that?
I'm sure
I don't-
someone has.
Yeah. I don't know. It just sounds wrong. That just sounds disgusting. But
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say this probably isn't the answer you're looking for, but I'm that way with kiwis.
Oh, you're so weird.
I didn't used to. I thought you couldn't eat the peel of a kiwi.
Right.
I
I don't think you're supposed to.
like shortens your life expectancy. I did it all the time. We had friends of my grandparents that owned a kiwi ranch,
Mm-hmm.
and when we were there once, they were like, "Oh no, go ahead. You can just bite into them like an
Right.
apple." And I
Well,
was like,
they would know
"Really?"
best if they actually have a
Yeah.
ranch.
They died later that evening.
Oh my
No, I'm
gosh.
kidding.
No.
But I loved grabbing the kiwis off the tree and just like biting into it. It was like, you know what? The peel's not that bad.
Right.
There's certain citrus, as a guy who tries to like go out of his way to eat things that probably shouldn't be eaten.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain fruits that you can't even force yourself to eat the peel of.
Think of one. Grapefruit.
Grapefruit's probably one I haven't tried, but I've tried to eat a mandarin like an apple. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah.
Like a kiwi, you can do it. A kiwi, there's certain people that are into that. You know, they'll just bite into it. And
I'm
it's
actually
like,
allergic to kiwi. That's another
That's
thing.
right, you
Yeah.
are.
So it's pineapple and kiwi I'm like mildly allergic to. We have a couple of super chats
Oh,
here.
okay. Let's catch up. Let's catch up.
First one I think is probably for you from Will
Oh, okay.
Curtis. What are 3 things you change at Apple?
Well, I talk about tech all day. I don't want to talk about tech
He
more, but
paid.
go ahead. You're on the Talks podcast. You're going to get Drew and Louise answers. So go ahead, Louise.
I know nothing about Apple as a company other
Well, you
than
don't
they
have
make
to
a
know
ton of
anything.
money.
So what's 3 things you change? Even if you don't know that much, it's
I
fine.
would make me as the CEO, obviously.
You'd replace Tim Cook.
I'd
Okay.
make Drew the head of R&D because he loves designing tech and he has this like. Well,
Thank
can I
you.
tell them this?
Yeah,
That you have
go
this
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
vision for like if you had the opportunity, you would have
Mhm.
a tech company and you could design like all the different.
Yeah, I have a lot of tech
units.
ideas. Yeah.
And he can tell you more about that.
Yeah.
The third thing,
I don't know. Oh yeah, go ahead. What's the third thing?
I'd
you
have
change?
them create an Apple car.
Oh, you want a car?
Yeah.
From Apple. Okay.
We need some like Tesla competition.
Mm.
Someone who actually
That would be
has
tough.
the funds to back it up.
Yeah. They would have to like design the whole supercharger network.
Or they could like go.
Yeah, they could partner with
Yeah.
Tesla. Tesla's offered to do that with companies, but no one really wants to, which is bizarre.
Why?
I don't know.
Maybe they take a percentage of the.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like I know that when you buy a Tesla, it's like you get oh, what was it? I think depending on if you've had a test drive or not, you get like 6 months of free charging or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they charge you for the supercharger network, but it's not much. Like compared to gas, it's still cheaper. But
Do you know how much it is?
I don't know specifically. I just know that it's not as much as gas. Like
Maybe it's like $10 for 200 miles or something.
something like that. I know it's it's done digitally, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't go like at a gas pump, you swipe your card, you load it into the, you pick your gas,
Mm-hmm.
and then it charges your card right there. With this, when you plug in the supercharger to the Tesla, it tells the charger it's this owner,
Mm-hmm.
and then they bill you through your Tesla account, which is kind of neat.
So you have to put money into your Tesla account, though? That seems...
No,
little-
the Tesla account is just connected. It's like your Apple ID. It just has your billing info in it and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of interesting that you can just show up and plug in. I kind of wish gas cars could do that somehow.
Is there a way to hack a Tesla charger? Be like,
Um,
how many people have put their information
Right.
here?
Right. I don't know. Maybe that's
I
possible.
mean, how safe is that?
I imagine it's safer than just pulling out your credit card at a gas station. That's probably led to more problems than
Yeah. That's true.
than the hacking methods. But yeah. Okay, so that's your third thing. You want an Apple car, which is a good one. I would say if I was in control of Apple, my three things would be fix the naming lineup. All the names of iPhones are screwed up right now. They've really messed that up, and I would try to fix that if I was in charge. I would also try to discontinue old stuff. There's a lot of things that they need to stop making, like the trash can Mac Pro. And I wouldn't release things if they're not ready yet, or unveil things like AirPower as a big mistake. I don't know. There's probably more thought that could go into that, but I don't care.
You said you wouldn't unveil things until they're fully functional?
Operational. I'm kind of mad at Apple for unveiling AirPower when it clearly wasn't ready.
Yeah, I
Like,
haven't really kept up with that stuff.
That's fine. It's really not that interesting. It's been like AirPower coming soon, and then it didn't come, and then it didn't come, and then it got delayed. And now, years later, we're still getting leaks that say, "Oh, one more month," and it still might not come out. So
Mm-hmm. Just
It's
don't
really
get your
boring.
hopes up.
yeah, exactly. It's not exciting charger
Was
anyway.
that 3 already?
Yeah, that's my 3. But we have another super chat from
Yes.
Evan Faulkner,
Mhm.
who says, ideas on places you'd like to move. Willington, NC? Yes, exactly. Wilmington. That was our exact number 1 guess of where we
Yeah.
wanted to move.
Of course. That's our favorite place in the world. How'd you know?
I find that funny. I mean, it's cute. I get it. I get what you guys do, but it's funny to me that, like, everyone who ever hears, like, I've talked about in the past, like, Taylosoph is probably going to move away from this area someday. We're not going to be in this office forever.
Yeah.
Not likely. Sorry, I hit the mic. But whenever I ask people, did I break it?
Your mic's sad.
I made it sad.
You need
Hold on a
tighten the
second.
thing.
I got it. Sorry about that. Whenever people ask, like, whenever I bring up that we might move, everyone just says, "Move where I am. Just move here and then hire me." Like that's the go-to.
Wait, really? People have said that?
Oh yeah, I get that daily now.
Oh my gosh.
People are like, "Are you ever gonna come here where I am specifically?"
Give me some examples of where those people are.
Oh, it's anywhere. I don't
Maybe
know.
I'm
Wilmington.
interested.
That's a good example. Are you gonna move here where I am? It's like why? Because I'm here.
I need
okay,
more
I
of
don't-
a benefit than that.
I don't know who you are. But
So,
anyway, how would you
You
feel?
didn't answer. Where do you
Oh,
live
I don't know. There's a lot of ideas I had. There's nothing terribly specific. I feel like I should, but I don't really have that dream like, oh, if only we could move here. Like, this is my dream location. If money wasn't a factor, I'd love to live here. Because there's things I like/dislike about big cities. There's things I like/dislike about rural areas. I'm kind of mixed on everything. And there's for me, anytime someone lists somewhere, I'm kind of like, well, there's this problem, this problem, this problem.
Right.
So I guess I'm not looking anywhere that has like a great nightlife or a great party town. Some people
How
think
about
like
something
that.
that's close to an Apple store?
Yeah, I mean, to
Even
me
that's
that
not enough of an incentive.
no, to me an Apple store isn't a good incentive because honestly, over the years since becoming a tech channel, an Apple store is less and less that big a deal because I have most of the stuff
Right.
that you could use in
And
an
you can
Apple
order
store.
a lot of things online anyways.
Right.
Most things.
Most of the things I order online, and having a store close would be a little bit handy a couple times in the year. Like, okay, I'll just go across and check out the store.
Right.
But then I would probably run into issues with fans, as every time I go to an Apple store,
Yeah.
I usually meet people who watch.
Or In-N-Outs. That's been a problem.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
We
it's
go
not
to
a
more
problem
In-N-Outs.
to be recognized.
No, my biggest factor, as you know, in looking for a new place to live is definitely internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
As we've run into issues just testing this live stream right before we started. Depending on what my bandwidth is, that depends on how, a lot of the time, quite literally, like how good my content is.
Right.
Which, in regards to Tailosive being my passion and how into the business I am and how I want to do more and more things, if I had, something miraculous like gigabit, like 1,000 up, 1,000 down, I could do so much more than I'm doing right now.
Now, if you had that option, like at a residential house or a residential place, like if you could work from home and still have incredible internet connection, would that be something that you'd consider?
Yeah. No, I think so, because for me, the internet's the driving force. So I wouldn't mind at all working from home. There's a few holdups. There's a few cons of working from home, as I've experienced. It can be a little bit difficult trying to separate work from, what's it called? Work from home when it's all in the same place. It's kind of difficult to kind of manage that, because in the past I had a lot harder times focusing on sleeping or just relaxing, because a lot of the times I used to just crash at my office and I couldn't sleep, because if I got an idea for a video or I got an idea to work on something, it's all right there.
Right.
So I can just get up and do it. It's right in front of me.
What if
Whereas,
you had a guest house that was like a separate building on the same lot?
yeah, that might help a little bit, but yeah, for the most part, it's still that kind of, the opportunity to fix something is so close.
Yeah.
Like one time, it kind of really bothered me and I really regretted it. I was editing a tech video, and in the middle of it, I was like 2 minutes done with it. I had cut out all of the dead air. I was adding in all the cutaway shots, and there was like 2 minutes left. And just in that last 2 minutes, there was something going on at home, or there were people coming over or something. And I was like, I don't want to be late to this. So I stopped right there, and it was going to mean that the tech video wasn't going to come out until the next day. And that meant that, like, all that evening and all night, I kept thinking, like, I was that close. I was that close.
When did this happen?
I don't know. I don't remember. It was
this like after we got married?
Yeah, this was a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yikes.
It's my fault. I don't blame you, or I don't blame our personal life and stuff. It's just, like I said, I'm always trying to be more positive. I'm trying to be more positive and not be so critical on my work, but at the same time, like not getting that satisfaction of like, okay, it's done there, I can walk away from it, was like really, really hard on my brain, because even when I was trying to sleep that night, we were tired, we had to get up early, I was like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Once I get to work, I got to do this, and this, and it messed with me. So I prefer to find good pausing times in work, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, I still think it'd be worth putting up with that if it meant you could get really good internet and bundle it with, you don't have to pay for office rent and house rent separately.
Well, that was my only like concern, is that we'd be paying for office rent forever. Like literally, if you stayed at this office for 4 years, you'd have enough money to like buy a house. That's how much rent you're paying.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of crazy.
Right. But you don't have that up front, so that's kind of the difference with financing stuff.
That's true.
It's a lot of the reason people buy iPhones monthly is because, they don't have $750 to spend up front, but they do have $40 a month. So it feels like less of a burden. But you're right. In the long term, you're basically, that's money gone.
Right.
Which is why we talk so much about buying houses in the last episode.
And there are people like who work from home and still find a balance between home life and
there's
work
lots
life.
There's definitely ways to do it. I just think there's a lot of advantages
Advantages.
Emphasis on the wrong syllable. There's a lot of advantages to keeping it separate too. Like when I want to film my Saturday shorts and stuff, having to like invite people to the house opposed to an office is kind of awkward. Particularly,
That's true.
If you're filming at a certain time.
Third location, just like find a random parking lot to film in.
Yeah, I mean it's dependent on the short a little bit, but one nice thing about having this office opposed to like working from home is like we have to. If I want people to come over for a short, like Cinderblaze Min, he's coming into town this weekend. I can just invite him over to the office,
right,
and he can hang out, and Wyatt can come over and hang out, and we can do stuff together, and he can help me out. But if I was working from home, that would be a little bit difficult because what if like you come home and there's all these guys over, and you're like, well, you know, like I want to be alone, or I don't want all these people at our house, and so there's pros and cons.
Okay, so Evan just super chatted.
Oh, wow.
He said, beach is a great pause for work. Wilmington offers. Actually, I mean, that's starting to sound a little bit better because I have been to North Carolina before, and it's really pretty there. I don't remember what town I went to exactly, but I, like, walked around downtown, and it had, like, a small town feel, but it's, like, a city.
Beach means expensive. That's what my mind does.
He said, no, he said it's, like, cheap-ish rent.
Well, that's good. Cheap. I wonder what cheap-ish means for places near the beach. Yeah, that's
true. We live in California though, so we're kind of
used to the best of the. Well, where we live is very low rent compared to other places. Well,
in this town specifically, not really this region.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Well, like Bay Area rent and LA rent is very different from like up in the foothills.
We got a great deal.
We do. I think we're a little bit spoiled because anytime we go to a different town. But you didn't answer the other super chat, hon. What other places you were looking for?
Oh, I want to live like by the beach.
Yeah.
I was thinking Puerto Rico or Florida.
Oh, you like Florida?
Or
we've been to Florida together a few times.
Yes, my dad has a house there, and Drew and I have vacationed there twice. He actually proposed to me like at the beach where we like first hung out as a couple.
I like it there.
Couple.
Yeah, I could get used to it.
It's so far away from family. Like all of our family is on this side.
It is. It's getting harder and harder to avoid that fact though.
Yeah.
Even if we stayed put, like your family moving away, my family moving away, it's going to be difficult to find a place where that's. I think regardless, I've kind of just accepted the fact that wherever we move, the family's going to be a flight away. It's just a matter of how far away. Right. But still, you're going to have to go to an airport to visit family at the end of the day, which is fine.
It's just part of growing up, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to stay in one place forever. Maybe some people do. I certainly don't.
When did we go to Florida? What different times did we go?
So we went there in February of 2017. So it was literally like 1 month after we started dating. I bought him a plane ticket. That was his birthday present.
Well, you wanted me to come to the you wanted me to come to Florida before we were dating.
Yeah. And you were like, "Oh, I can't go unless we're dating." And that was like his trick of like
wasn't a trick.
It's kind of a trick.
I personally did feel that way.
But you told me it was your parents that said that. You said, my parents won't let me unless I'm dating you. And in my mind, I was like, that doesn't make sense. That
knowing my parents, that doesn't make sense?
Well, before I knew them.
Okay, yeah.
It doesn't make sense that they'd want to have you be like romantically involved with this person before you go on a cross-country trip to see them. I don't know.
Well, you have to remember, I've never done anything like that for my closest friends. Even my absolute closest best friends I've ever met, I've never like bought a ticket to fly and see them.
Yeah.
Even when they went out of town. So for them, particularly if I tried to run that idea by them, be like, hey, I want to go visit my friend on the other side of the country, and also she's a girl, they would have been like,
so it made it better that.
So they're a friend, huh? There's something like that. I don't know. I personally, like, I fibbed a little bit with my parents saying that's what they required because, in the end.
So did you even ask them before you told me that?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I think you just made it up and then told me.
Well, I made it up to kind of lessen the blow on my end, but at the end of the day, I felt that way. Like, I didn't, as a friend, because we were friends at the time, I didn't want to cut you off and just say, I don't want to talk to you unless you want this to be more, because I want a real relationship. and I was like intending for us to become a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of said it in a way of like, well, blaming my parents for ideas and morals that I kind of had in my head. Like
Yeah.
I would not go.
What was the problem with you just telling me the truth, like up front, that's how you felt?
It's a little blunt.
Ooh,
I
I'm
think.
calling you out now, even though we're married.
No, it's
all of this is
it all
the
worked
point
out.
is moot.
It doesn't matter now, but still, I think my main point was, I would not make a trip that far for
For
a
a
friend
friend?
zone.
For friend zone.
Bigger, maybe I would do it for a friend, but more importantly, I would do it for someone that I wanted to be in a relationship with, but they didn't see me that way.
Mm-hmm.
That felt weird. Like because at the time you never told me you were like, well, you were somewhat into me, but you weren't like,
Yeah.
you didn't want us to be dating. You didn't want
Yeah,
to
I'm
date.
trying
You
to
just wanted
think-
us to hang out.
I'm trying to think what my mindset was at the time,
Hmm.
knowing we weren't dating. Like, why did I invite you to go to Florida? Like,
I think you wanted us to be dating, but you didn't want to admit it.
did you think like my plan was for you to come to Florida and then us to start dating after that?
Maybe that would be it. Like while we're there, we
Yeah.
decide to start dating, but I wasn't going to take that risk because
That's kind of like,
we had been we call it friendationships. Like
you call it that, I don't call it that.
I call it that, which is when like you have feelings for someone and you admit them and you say that you like someone, but you don't like make it official. You don't date for
Yeah.
whatever reason. For me,
I
it was
mean, we
because
weren't like going beyond a certain extent that actually like
Mhm.
led into a relationship.
sure.
Like we were doing like mild flirting, I guess.
I think that's safe to say. Mild
yeah, we
flirting.
never
Yeah.
like the worst we did. We hugged goodbye, and actually at one point, like one of us was like, "This is too much. We can't even."
I remember
that?
we
Was that
went
me
out.
Or was that you?
It was both of us at different times. At one point, we were like, okay, well, we can't date, which basically
Right.
dating means being alone together. So we had to go out on like friend outings. So you had a group of friends. I didn't really have that many friends.
Mhm.
I had like Ross in college, and
Mhm.
then I was starting to hang out with Wyatt. That was about it. And then there was like this corn maze thing that you
Oh,
and your
yeah, it
friends
was
were going
around
to.
Halloween.
What are those called again?
Corn maze, scary maze. Corn
Scary maze.
maze? I think it's a corn maze.
Okay.
But I remember I invited you, and I was like hoping it would be kind of just us two, like in this group of people, but I
Sure.
wanted to just hang out with you predominantly. And then you asked if your friend could come.
Oh yeah.
and,
Because I didn't want it to be like, I didn't want my parents thinking that it was like a date because my parents had opinions on
which
that.
is ridiculous because there are like 7 other people with us.
Well, I remember that night specifically on the drive home from the corn maze, you put your head on my shoulder. You kind of
I
leaned
was
against
tired,
me
okay.
and you were relaxing. And then we had like an entire 4-hour long discussion about how we're crossing boundaries. And you were like,
We're
oh, we
just
shouldn't have
friends.
done
We
that. I
can't do
shouldn't have
that."
done that. I'm so sorry. We're just friends. I'm not supposed to lean on against your shoulder. I
Yeah.
felt bad about that. And it just was this huge debate over the head on the shoulder
Right.
thing.
I think it's because I wanted to like get past that point,
Yeah.
and
we
I
both
was allowed
did.
to date, but you weren't. So it was just this kind of like
Parents didn't want it. Yeah.
purgatory of dating. Anyways, how did this become another relationship podcast?
Oh, that's okay. We're going more in our background, but we call it friendationships because we're more than friends, but we're not in a relationship.
There's no label.
So after that point, and we had decided like I wanted to go a little further, and you really didn't. You wanted to kind of keep us as friends,
Mhm.
and then you moved, and then you were like, "Do you want to meet up in Florida?" I was like, "Well, we don't." I was kind of closed off because we didn't see our relationship in the same way. You were kind of seeing it at the time as good friends hanging out, and I was like, I want this to be more.
Mhm.
I want to be, because that was after high school.
Yeah.
I was allowed to date at that point.
after you graduated.
Yeah, but you were just like, let's keep it simple. Let's not
Mhm.
take it romantically. And I was like, well, I wouldn't go to Florida unless we're taking it romantically.
And
so-
that is how I met your mother.
Yeah. Right, exactly. But yeah, it was both good trips when we went to Florida.
Yeah.
I think the first one was in February for your birthday.
Yeah. February 2017. And then
2 years ago now.
a
Wow.
year and a half later was when we got engaged.
Yeah.
It was July.
So
of
we went
last
to
year.
Florida in July?
July 18th
Really?
was when we.
Okay. It didn't feel that bad. I thought there was this anticipation that Florida was really like humid and hot in the summer, and it didn't feel that humid or hot when we were
No,
there.
definitely not. I mean, we went swimming like every day, so that helps.
Yeah, that's true. Really warm water there in the
You
Atlantic.
think it's warm. I don't think it's warm.
Again,
need,
we have
like-
big differences
I
on
need
water
Puerto
temperature.
Rican water.
You need Hawaii water.
I've never been to Hawaii.
No?
No. You've been to Hawaii.
That's funny. I was in Hawaii when I was 6 years old. Yeah,
But you remember it. You
I do
the
remember
clear
it.
blue water.
it wasn't clear. I don't remember that at all. It was very murky.
Dirty?
But what I remember was it was warm as a bath. It was like 80-degree water. Jumping in that was like, it wasn't even refreshing, to be
No?
honest. I know a lot of people like love Hawaii. Or like Matthew is in the chat. He's like, Hawaii is the dream. But in my opinion, when we were in Hawaii, it's nice. It's a great destination to visit. But swimming there just felt like I was getting in a bathtub. It was like a
Yeah.
giant hot tub. And I was like, I kind of like the water to be a little cold.
yeah.
It's a little
If
bit
the weather-
refreshing.
if the weather's warm, then yeah, you want the water to be a little cooler.
Sure.
But if the
That's why
weather's-
Florida I thought was like the perfect beach
Yeah.
because
It was nice and hot.
it was hot there. Like you could burn your feet walking on the sand.
Mm-hmm.
But once you got in the water, it was like, that's better.
I'm surprised you didn't get sunburnt. Like both times you went there.
Did I not?
Nope.
I thought I usually always get sunburned. I'm good at that.
No, I made sure to put sunscreen on you every day.
Maybe that's what it is. Every time I go to the beach, I get sunburned. But then when you go with your girlfriend, it's like you actually like putting on sunscreen.
Yeah.
Whereas when I'm younger and it's like your mom has to put it on your back
It's
or your
not as
sister,
fun.
you're like, stop, leave me alone. When
Yeah.
you're going with your family, you're like, Dad, can you put on sunscreen on my back? I'm like, no, thanks. I'll just
Yeah, I
jump
feel
in.
like sometimes I baby you and maybe I shouldn't, but
Is that babying or is it just being close?
yeah, it's that. But like, there's also other things in our lives that I feel like I'm kind of nagging you on. Like, hey, we need to brush our teeth before we go to bed. Like,
For me, it's not that. It's like that's a good idea. I've just always been bad about
Yeah.
brushing my teeth, but it's
Like,
more
you-
recently it's the coconut oil. You and my mom have
I
that
did
in
that
common.
once.
I just got a flashback though when you did it because
Yeah.
for those of you who've been watching for a long time, you know they have all this red stuff patchy
Some
that- on my top of my head, on my eyebrow, it's everywhere. On the back of my head, it's very noticeable because of my
What is it
haircut.
called?
Psoriasis, spelt with a P,
Mhm.
like pterodactyl. But that psoriasis has been like this ongoing investigation for my family of
Right.
like, what do we do? How do we fix this?
And it's interesting because you haven't had it your whole life.
No,
Just,
it kind of
in your teens?
arose in when I was like 15, and then it
Yeah.
just got my hands
Maybe
are all
like
screwed
something
up.
about puberty, like the hormones changed or
Right.
something.
No, my dad had it. It's genetic.
Mhm.
He had it in high school, and then it kind of wore off in his mid-20s.
Okay.
So it might wear off someday for me, but I also have it a lot worse than he did. So who knows?
Really?
But there's certain things that'll fix it for certain people that won't work on others. Because my dad had certain medicines that would fix it, and they did not work for me. But you and my mom are like convinced that this coconut oil
Oh,
is
I'm
gonna
not
fix
convinced. I
Okay.
see it with thine own eyes.
it.
Like last
Yeah.
night when I put it on the back of your head and
Mhm.
I used a comb and I was like, I felt like Dr. Pimple Popper almost, except with psoriasis. Like
Yeah.
I just watched the flakes accumulate on the comb and it was fascinating and also
And you know why I do it all the time now?
right.
You see the
Did it feel any
dandruff
better
all-
today? Like after I scraped a lot of the skin cells out? No.
Yeah, it's kind of like imagine having poison oak for your entire life. That's what psoriasis is like. It's like itchy. If you see me doing this with my hands during
Mm-hmm.
streams and stuff, that's like the most, in my mind, like the most efficient way to scratch both.
Right.
Because like my hands are covered with it. So like when I do that, it's
You
satisfying
need
to
like
me.
a cat toy that you can
Yeah,
like, rub your hands against.
like steel wool.
Oh,
Just
gosh, that sounds
that would feel
painful.
good to me, but I
Your
know
hands
it's
would
weird.
be bleeding.
But like my mom would do that to me every night.
Yeah.
Like every single night she would come up behind me, usually without asking. I'd be in the middle of editing a video or something and she'd just like big old coconut oil on the back of my head, and I didn't like the way it smelled, so I'd always be like, "Stop, mom."
Yeah, I'm not trying to replace your mom. Like,
No,
I'll
no.
never be as like intense as her. But I don't know. I just thought it might help a little bit.
No, and I appreciate it because you're much more you're gentle about it, and you're more
Thank
like
you.
you ask first. You know,
You trust me a lot, actually. Like a
I
couple
do.
weeks ago,
That's important in marriage.
Drew was laying on the couch, and he always likes to lay down, and I get to sit and have his legs on me.
We go back and forth
Okay,
a little
fine,
bit.
we do. Sometimes we both lay down.
Yeah, yeah.
But I noticed, like, is this like TMI if we talk about your toenails?
Yeah, but go ahead.
So I noticed, like, there's
Time to
some,
talk
like,
about Drew's toenails.
some, like, I don't know, buildup or something.
Yeah, it's
Skin
gross.
cells underneath your nails.
Yeah,
And
gross.
it looked flaky, so I was wondering, like, how, like, can I dig it up?
Mm-hmm.
So I asked you, like, can I cut your nails? And you're like, okay. So I started, like, I used these really sharp tweezers.
Yeah.
They're basically like pickaxes, like a tiny pickaxe.
You know that sword that Bilbo has in Lord of the Rings? It's like that. She just digs it into my toe.
Oh, gross.
No, it's not that bad. But
Yeah, I used the tweezers and I just like gently scraped out all the gunk that was in there. And it wasn't like dirt. I mean, maybe some of it was, but it was literally just his own body creating so many cells
it is disgusting.
that it built up. But
Yeah.
I got through it, and it was like pretty much just a regular nail, like thin, you know. And then I cut it down, and now like his nails look normal for the most part.
Yeah, fairly normal. You got to do that to my hands sometimes.
Oh,
People
yeah.
always say
Please let me. It's like really, really fun. I don't know why.
a lot of people see my hands in videos and they're always like, "Why is Drew's fingernails so long?" And they're not long. They're just like uprooted because of the skin disease.
Can we make a video on that? I bet that'd get like 1 million
Oh
views.
God.
Like, you know how people like have those like satisfying
Oh,
We're
that
gonna make
that
our
is not
own-
satisfying.
we'll
though.
call it psoriasis satisfying video.
Wyatt had a good joke today. He said that
What?
my nickname should be Sir Ryasis,
I like that.
like they knight me in
Yeah.
the United Kingdom. You shall now be known as Sir Ryasis.
I like that.
Oh God, that's disgusting. We need a new topic.
It's not, I mean, it's slightly disgusting, but also more fascinating.
It's very fascinating if it's, I think, related to you specifically. But yeah,
What?
I know. No, I mean
as
like
female?
no.
or-
I mean like if you're doing it, if someone you're doing it in person, to hear about it online is probably not as satisfying.
Yeah,
But
you guys would have to see it. So we'll see if Drew will let me do it.
oh my God, is that a double super chat or is that a glitch?
Oh, it looks like glitched out.
Huh. Maybe it's a glitch. Maybe you donated twice, but let's read it for sure.
Philadelphia Eagles. Oh my gosh, is this a football team that
Yeah.
just super chatted us?
For sure. That's hot. Ah, that's hot. What did he say, Louise?
Okay, he said, been watching for a while now, and I just love hearing your option. I think he meant opinion.
Yeah.
On things, tech, and other things. You guys also look perfect together, by the way.
Aw.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the support. And don't apologize for donating twice. That's fine.
Was
Unless
that an
that's a
accident?
glitch. He said, oops. So I imagine it's an accident.
Oh,
But
how do we donate it back?
I wish there was an easy button. But
Like
YouTube
an
is
undo?
YouTube
They've
is
already
too
taken
needy.
their portion out of it.
YouTube's already taken their portion.
They're
Yeah.
like, we're not giving
But
it
no,
back.
don't you think that should be a feature?
Yes.
Shouldn't
Definitely.
as long as you're the owner, like me watching the stream as Taylosive Talks, I should be able to tap the super chat and say like refund.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't do it obviously because that would be mean. If you could like super chat a bunch and be like, "Wow, I'm gonna read this message," and then they take it back, it's like, yeah, that's cheating. But if the creator could do it, that would make total sense.
Michael Lip says, we need Taylosive science. We're going to trailblaze this. Psoriasis.
Earth is a
digging.
donut. Taylosive science.
What?
It's not flat. It's not round. It's a donut.
I think it's a pancake, actually.
That's pretty flat.
No, but it still has thickness. It's not a crepe.
That's true.
It's a pancake.
In regards to Florida, though,
Yes.
how would you feel if we like, man, maybe not your dad's house specifically, but what if we lived there and we were able to get decent internet? Would that be a nice place to live, you think?
Are you serious? Yes.
I don't think it would
yes.
happen. It's
Oh.
no. I
Come
mean, like
on,
his
you're
house is too
raising-
expensive unless you gave your dad some good puppy eyes.
Puppy eyes. Ew.
Can you give me a present?
I don't beg.
Well, would you beg for a house though?
He's not just gonna give me a house if I beg for it. But if I was just answering your question,
How do we
yes,
know?
I'm not gonna try. You can
I
give
could
him your
try.
puppy eyes. Your puppy eyes are better than mine.
Your dad was on this on a Taylosive Talk stream once. I think some people might remember him. Pete, you guys remember Pete?
Yeah, that's my father.
Yeah, you guys talked to him for a long time. Yeah, next time he's in town, we'll have to have him on again.
Mhm.
But
So
yeah,
your
no,
question was, would I like to live there?
yeah,
I think it really depends on what part.
yeah,
but,
okay.
I mean, I like warm weather. I
Mhm.
like being close to the beach. Not necessarily like being as close
Mm.
as we were before, but even something like an hour away, that'd be so nice.
Hmm.
But I don't want to be far away from your family and my family. So probably West Coast is where we're going to end up.
Oh, you want to stick to West Coast? Okay.
I don't necessarily want to.
Oh, you don't
I'm
want
sa-
to?
I'm saying it's both a possibility, but I know you don't want to be far away from your family.
Yeah, I mean, there's a natural draw for me to go to kind of the Washington area because a lot of family, not just family, but friends too, are heading that direction. So it kind of makes me want to pursue that.
Yeah. I think
Though I'm
Seattle-
kind of with you. I don't love the super cold weather.
Mhm.
I don't mind it. Like I'll live in it. I'm not totally against it, but it's not so much the snow or the cold that bothers me. It's the
Wind.
no, not the
Oh.
wind.
The wind
Um,
chills.
It's honestly just the cars and how they behave in snowy weather
Yeah,
that bothers
the
me.
chains and everything. I've never had to do that.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about snowing the driveway here. We never have. And
Snowing
also,
the driveway.
sorry, shoveling
Shoveling the snow.
shoveling the snow out of
And
the
that
driveway.
would be your job.
I
wouldn't
know
do
it
that.
would. I know it would. No, I wouldn't expect you to. But yeah, I don't like the idea of just because I've visited my family up in Washington before during the snowy season a couple times, and you have to drive differently,
Mhm.
and you have to worry about like salt on the roads, and you have to worry about
But-
slipperiness
But if we had an office in our house and
Yeah.
we had a grocery store like a block away, we'd never have to drive. We'd just walk and you could work from home.
yeah, no, I agree. We wouldn't have to go very far, but still, you're gonna have to drive at some point. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna drive around whether or not you work from home. And I know that the snow can sometimes bring kind of cabin fever to a lot of people. It's like you can't go out and do much for very long.
Yeah.
The
Tech nerd.
snow and cold is not lovely for me.
Bringing it back to Pete, my dad, he said, I mean, my dad's not in the chat.
Yeah,
Tech
yeah.
Nerd said, Pete is awesome. I remember Drew was sad that day because everyone said he was better than you, Drew. Is that true?
People do that with any guest. I think it's
Oh.
just because they're sick of me. Like obviously, you guys would all start bawling if I decided to quit YouTube. But anytime anytime we have a guest on, they're always like, "See,
Much
this
better."
person knows much better. This
well,
person."
also, my dad has like 40 years on Drew.
That's
so
true.
He's going to know a ton more about everything.
A lot more experience.
Yeah.
And they just,
mean-
I think they just loved his accent, which I do too. I mean, he was just fun to
Imitate
talk
him
to.
for a second. You have a really good Australian accent.
Louise. That's why.
You
'Cause he always
always
says
say
that.
that to me.
Because he says that a lot. He's like, "Well, Louise, I'm gonna put
Oh,
some plants in the
goodness.
garden. I brought them from
I
Australia."
know. My dad literally smuggled an entire plant in his garden in Australia.
Oh, it's not marijuana, Louise.
He's
You don't have to worry about-
crazy. Like that's not okay. He put it in his what's the opposite of a carry-on?
Carry
Like-
off. I don't know.
You know, like checked luggage. That's what it was. Also,
Right.
we have another super chat.
Oh,
Wanna
okay.
Go ahead and read it.
Yeah, sir. Sam the MD. That sounds recognizable. Thank you for super chatting, Sam. Says, "You don't like shoveling 2 feet of snow? Bummer. It's totally what I look forward to on a daily." The sarcasm is strong with this one.
Wait, really? I think he might actually like
No, I think
shoveling snow.
he put a period at the end of his
He
sentence.
said bummer as if like we're some stupid Californians. I mean, we are, but
Why would he say 2 feet of snow if he was talking seriously? Tell us, Sam.
maybe
What did you
like,
mean?
He's saying it's not that bad. It's just 2 feet.
He's just said, "No, it horrible."
No, it horrible.
No, it
Oh,
horrible.
Okay, see, I can't read sarcasm unless I'm in the room with you.
No, there's a lot. I'm kind of in agreement with you. I would much rather live in a place with the weather that gets too hot opposed to too cold. Like extreme heat, the challenge is like how little do I wear today? Like t-shirt, shorts, flip-flops. Whereas living in the cold means like how much can I wear today? It means sweater, 2 pairs of socks,
Yeah.
boots.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a lot more work. A lot of people enjoy that. Like my dad loves the idea of living in the cold, living in the layering up. I think he likes it because it's like you have to prepare. You know, it's like
winter is coming.
Winter is coming. We live in the wilderness and we have to be ready. And he likes kind of prepping for stuff. And they like the idea of walking in a house and starting a fire and everyone kind of huddling around it. But me, I'm kind of like, I don't mind if we don't have to do that.
Right.
I can just go outside.
Because if you had like 4 sweaters on, you'd be perfect outside when you're, walking around in the snow. But as soon as you walked in somewhere, it's like then you're sweating. And who wants that?
Yeah.
I don't like bipolar weather. Like, I don't even like California weather that much because it's freezing in the morning.
Certain parts of the year, it'll flip-flop throughout the day.
Right. And then at the end of the day, I'm like in my car and I have to turn the AC on. It's like, is this the same place?
Yeah.
Or did I just like travel to the Bahamas?
There's some real awkward times of the year here. I know what you're talking about. Like the day starts and it's like freezing and the windshield's frozen over and you can't see. And then by the time you go home, you're like taking off all these clothes because it's so hot outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I work in a warehouse, so it's like intensified.
I don't think there's ever going to be a place that has everything, personally. I feel like whatever place we end up going to, there's going to be some downside to it.
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah, if we lived in like a warm place by the beach, when it's hot, we can go cool off at the beach, and we'd have really bomb AC, so we can go home and like.
Well, there I
sit in
guess.
an icebox.
Yeah, there you go. There, I guess the only issue is like the price, though, because when you're working with beach access, that's a factor I consider. Just like.
Well, my dad is selling his house for rather cheap. I heard
Rather cheap.
He just took $5,000 off the price, so we can now afford it in about 30 years.
Yeah, I don't. He should cut us a deal, right?
No, I mean, even if he did, we're not gonna actually live there.
No, why not?
Because you don't want to.
Well, I don't know what the internet's like, but we would have to see the internet situation.
If the internet was good, would you actually like move to Florida? Knowing that place, knowing the location.
I'd heavily consider it.
Really?
Yeah.
That like really excites me because I thought I had.
But we're not like, I mean, not going into specifics, but that house is quite out of our, in our price range. It's not really there, but still, if he cut us a deal, I don't know, family discount or something. I'm asking for too much.
95% discount.
I'm an in-law, so I shouldn't really be asking for anything like that. Hurricanes do suck about Florida.
Yeah, wasn't there a storm that happened like a short time before we went there the first time?
Yeah, it was not long before, and there were like palm fronds everywhere. It was like luckily the house was fine. But
the house wasn't hit at all. It's been through a couple storms.
Weather was very on and off in Florida too.
Raining, sunny.
It would be. I remember sleeping there. It would get super stormy,
right?
And get tons of rain and thunder.
Better than like cuddling up when it's stormy outside.
That's true.
Some hot cocoa.
I do enjoy that. And hurricanes are expected to get worse. That's not good.
Oh, wait. Who can expect hurricanes to get Who can predict that kind of thing?
Climate change is real, so it's just gonna make.
Weather is very unpredictable.
It is.
Okay. I mean, I don't want to get too political here, but considering that it has gotten hotter over the years, I think we should move up north so that climate change can
there you go,
catch up to us, and then we'll have warm weather.
So let's move to Washington, and then by the time in like 20 years, it'll feel like here.
We just have 20 years.
No, that would be that would be moving insanely fast.
Yeah.
If the temperature changed that quickly, I don't think it will, but that would be bad.
Yeah.
We have a super chat from Intimidate XL, who I find
intimidating.
That said intimate. There's
Intimate XL. Oh,
intimate.
It's very risque.
Sorry, you can't spell intimate without intimidate.
Oh, scary.
I'm trying to think of a joke there. How are you streaming this with skills? Thank you. What do you think about Beamed Up on YouTube? I'm sorry, I don't know. I've gotten a lot of questions about them. I have no idea about them, but I appreciate the super chat. I apologize. I can't provide more insight on the matter. Do you know Anything about them?
Nope. I will look them up.
Okay, we're barren on the subject, so.
Speaking of barren,
But what?
we're not having kids.
Yeah, no, don't say that.
Right
but
now.
if you're bringing up that topic, how do you feel about? We were watching some more 90 Day Fiance. We're gonna have to bring that up every podcast.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of drama between this one couple because this one lady, I forget her name. She's Ika. You already know. Ika, yeah. Ika is 36 years old, and she wants to have kids, but she's kind of pushing it off a little bit, and
her biological clock is ticking at that age, obviously.
And they're in a bad situation because her fiance kind of made sure in the past he had that surgical operation to make sure that he can't have kids. So they have to figure out if they can reverse it.
Word? Is that taboo?
I don't know. I just thought to avoid demonetization, I shouldn't say it for some reason. I don't know. I just thought it'd be safer. But I keep saying to them watching the show, like, is she completely against adoption?
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about adoption?
I think if we couldn't have kids, then I would definitely like be willing to look into that.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as everyone makes it out to be. Like,
no, I don't think so
either. It's such a long
either.
process.
Yeah.
It costs so much money. It's actually cheaper to create a child the old-fashioned way.
Isn't that kind of sad?
It is sad.
In a way, that it's like it's cheaper like to create a human than to like...
These children have no homes. Like,
yeah.
Give them away for free. Slavery.
Oh, God.
Not slavery, but...
We found the new title of this podcast.
#slavery?
No, don't
or
do that one.
Trafficking.
Not slavery. I'm just saying, like, there's a ton of kids out there that are put up for adoption every year.
Yeah, and it's sad.
And it's sad that it's so complicated.
The older ones don't get adopted as much. Like, usually it's the babies because, you know, they don't have memories, so they can create all the memories with you.
So, like, if you found out, let's say, for instance, we're not confirming anything, but let's say, for instance, you found out you couldn't have biological kids, or maybe something's wrong with me.
Okay, good.
I was going to that. I was getting to that. Maybe it's my fault. Zip-a-zop. Maybe I can't.
Okay.
For whatever reason, would you, what if you were to adopt, would you go with a certain age range? Would you want to adopt someone that's like not a baby, or would you go for more like the infant stage?
I would honestly adopt my sister. Like, I've been
she's
wanting...
like, how old is she now?
She is 10.
Wow.
And she is planning on, well, obviously she doesn't really have a choice. My parents, my mom and my stepdad, are moving to the Philippines next year.
Yeah.
And Kim has to go with them. Kim's my sister. And I would rather her, like, stay in the U.S. and, like, continue her education here. Yeah. And just to be close to me.
Sure.
And I've brought it up to you, and obviously, like, it's not feasible. We can't really afford to have
right
a
now
child.
We can't do it, and I think by the time we could do it, she's going to be kind of old.
Yeah. Well, if she was like 15, we could still adopt her. 3 years to adulthood.
Until she goes to college, or I don't know. I mean, it would feel kind of weird. Given she's your sister, I wouldn't feel like her father or her stepfather.
Okay, so you're saying, like, to be actual, like, parental figures, would I adopt?
Yeah, let's okay. Your sister's one thing. Like, I want you to be close to your sister, and I'd love it if she moved back too. But let's take that off the table, and let's just talk about our own personal kids. Someone that I would be a father figure for.
I'd probably go like toddler age.
So you mean like 4 or 5, or
earlier than that? Maybe like 2.
Okay.
I think that's when they're the cutest, honestly.
Gotcha.
Okay, there's this one couple on 90 Day Fiance.
Yeah.
And they haven't even gotten the visa yet. They're still like before the 90 day.
Right.
And the girl is this 22-year-old, like, slightly bigger.
She's overweight.
Yeah, she's overweight.
What did you say?
Bigger.
And
she met this guy.
No disrespect.
Morocco, yeah. We love all people here.
Yeah.
She fell in love with this guy from Morocco, and she has this 2-year-old child, and her name's May. And May is like the cutest thing. Like, I get slight baby fever every time I see her. It's bad. But their relationship's awful. They need to break it up.
Yeah, they're terrible for each other. They fight
she
nonstop.
Has the guy call, or like she has May call the guy daddy, which I think is so weird. Like, you guys aren't married. Yeah, you're not even like.
That's a bad idea.
Right, you've dated for 6 months. Like,
you're really confusing the child too.
Yeah, she's like, "Is this really my daddy? He looks nothing
Yeah. It's like,
But I don't know.
don't call for future reference. If anyone out there has kids and they're dating someone, don't make your kid call your boyfriend their dad. That's just weird.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sorry.
feel like
Don't
there
do
needs
that.
to be a lot more commitment. Like at any second, that relationship could end, and imagine how confused she would be to like not have her daddy in her life anymore.
Very confusing. So you would go for the kind of May age range.
Yes, but if we found out like there was someone who needed a home more than, let's say, a 2-year-old, like I would be willing to go up to maybe like 12. I feel like
Okay.
at 13 they start, getting really rebellious, and if they're already super rebellious, it'd be hard to change their personality.
Right. When
try
you
to fix
adopt
them.
at the age of 2, you still kind of had a lot of you have a lot of mind molding you can work with. You know,
Some
like you can
brainwashing.
yeah
to do.
brainwashing, or as my parents would call it, parenting, where you just you could teach them things and how to be
Yeah.
respectful and polite.
Like you
Whereas,
don't force someone to change their personality, but you could just show them like
mhm.
good
But
ways to live.
at the age of 13 or 10, they've kind of already developed into in a lot of ways to the personality that they're going to be. You can change a little bit after
Yeah.
that age, but if you've grown
It's
up
just
with
a
certain
lot harder.
hmm No, I agree with you. I think that'd be a good time. I've met people in my life who intentionally said they would not. They want to have kids when they grow up, but they would intentionally not have biological kids. Like specifically because they're like, there's so many people who are adopted, or who are put up for adoption and
Right.
haven't found homes yet. Like, why make more? Why add to the population when there's people who need homes and families? Which I just thought was interesting. I don't think I would do it personally, just because I am kind of more attracted to the idea of it being a biological son or daughter of mine.
Right.
I kind of am attracted to that idea. You know, I want to see what a kid that
Yeah, I
we
think
make together would
It's
look like.
intriguing to see like the mix. Like
Yeah.
who's gonna have the more prominent feature?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's probably gonna be me because I have the
The
what is it?
dominant genes.
Yeah, dominant,
All
over
my
recessive.
ginger.
Yeah,
I look more ginger with this short
red
hair,
Yeah,
don't I?
you do.
I look more red. When my hair gets long, it looks more
Blonde,
blonde,
strawberry blonde.
dirty blonde.
But yeah, I feel like our kids would have probably darker hair and dark eyes, but maybe fair skin. And
Yeah.
that could be a cool mix.
I think it'll be interesting.
I wish there was
find
an
out someday.
app for this that could
There
like
is,
actually
I'm sure. There's like
but,
a billion
a
websites.
realistic one that like puts in our DNA and
Mhm.
creates this child.
Well, it's very much random, right? So we could never know exactly, but
Yeah, literally the child that we could make tonight. That came off really bad. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I know what
The
you
child
meant.
that we could possibly make now is way different than the child we would make tomorrow. Like,
Yes.
That's how quickly, like, sorry, let's not talk about this. I'm like, really
So
embarrassed.
haircuts. Everyone's arguing about politics in the chat.
Uh-oh. What's happening in the chat?
Well, I said no politics, but now everyone's arguing about their definition of politics. It's like climate change isn't
This is
politics.
great.
Oh God, just ignore him. Anywho, I wanted to know what you thought of. Someone already commented because I uploaded a vlog earlier about cutting my hair,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I included in that little clip of you buzzing over my head.
Mm-hmm.
And they were asking, actually, they said that it looked great. By the way,
Oh,
they said you did a
thanks.
great
Thanks,
job.
guys.
So for your first time, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You did an
I think I definitely
excellent
want to
job.
leave it longer next time, like the top.
Yeah.
The back's good because it's 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you normally have it.
So that's what they were asking. They were asking what numbers you used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So do you remember?
For the side, like the back and the sides,
Okay.
I did a 2.
Okay.
The very top, I just like did a quick over with an 8.
Okay.
That was literally the longest one that
Gotcha.
I had.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of blended it by going up a size each time or down a size.
Yeah,
however
you
did
kind
it.
of did it gradual on
Yeah,
the
so I
side.
did like a 3
Mhm.
and then a 4 and then just kind of went up
Yeah.
the stairs,
No, it looked
the
great.
ladder.
It looked really good. Yeah, I'm happy with it because I haven't had it this short in a long time. But it's much easier to maintain than before because
Taylor Swift Music says I should quit. Actually, not Taylor Swift Music.
you
Sorry.
should quit.
Barrett Burns says quit your job and cut hair. No.
Well, if this was the only haircut you had to do, you'd be great at it.
Oh yeah.
But
I could earn
you
$20
could
every 3 months.
Well, we did save money. Like every single haircut I've got for the past easily 12 years has been from Supercuts.
Right.
Every 2 months or every 3 months, I would go to Supercuts and spend $20.
So that's like $100 a year.
Yeah. What are we going to
$80 a
do
year.
with all this money? Travel.
Food?
Food. We could travel. We could see the world.
Let's travel to Chipotle and buy a burrito. We can
Oh, I love
travel for
Chipotle.
$80 to where?
What were people deleting? People being weird in the
I
chat.
don't know. You guys, be nice to each other.
Please be
please.
nice. Oh, Michael, don't ban people just for saying Drew said no politics. Please please go easy on each other. Okay, we just want to ban people who are like trying to reveal addresses or spamming or cursing. You don't have to just time out people who are saying things
If
you don't
someone
agree
says
with.
like Trump sucks, just leave
Yeah,
them
just
alone.
ignore it, guys.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. But regardless, do you think you're going to let me cut your hair next time?
Of course, yes. Actually, the nice thing about girls' haircuts
Mm-hmm.
is I'm planning on growing it out like to its original length, which is like my lower back.
Mm.
And at that point, I could cut it myself. Like that's how long it is. Like, I'm just like bend it down, snip, snip.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I could do it
super.
again.
Of course, yeah.
It's
And I
possible.
trust you. And like
Thank you. Thank you.
some people have judged me for it, but I think you did a really great job.
Thank you.
And I look like Lord
Thank you.
Farquaad with the bangs.
Lord Farquaad, who? That was good. But I like your
Lord
hair.
Farquaad, who?
Do you remember that? Plus that villain from the Lorax. Do you remember that movie?
I don't know the character's name, but yes, I remember him. Was he the one who tried to sell air in a can?
Yeah. Or was it air in a can? Yeah, it was something like that. That sounds right. The Lorax was a very simple message like that. Like, money bad. Don't cut down trees, even though they promoted the film with probably hundreds of thousands of posters that were made from paper that were from the forest. And then the movie made
It might have been
hundreds of
recycled.
millions
You
of
don't know
dollars.
that.
I doubt it was. They use all this cardboard to promote that little character. They're always.
The Lorax.
I just found that Lorax movie hypocritical because they're always talking about how like it's bad to grow these giant businesses and make all this money, and the movie makes like hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're like, making money is bad. Don't make
You're
all
saying
this.
it's contradicting?
It's a little
Contradictory?
hypocritical. Is probably the word.
What
I'm
was the
looking for.
other thing you told me about, or you asked me about? So not the Soviet Union. What's it called? Communism. Some guy was selling books on like the Communist Manifesto.
Oh, I just thought it was funny that you could buy the Communist Manifesto. It's like someone is using capitalism to promote communism. Isn't that a little weird? I'm not taking a stance or anything. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
It is weird, but I'm guessing that person is not a communist. Whoever's selling that.
Probably
That's
not.
a
They're like,
capitalist right
yeah,
there.
I gotta sell these books. I need a profit margin. I gotta make a sale to promote the idea that there shouldn't be businesses and we should all just help each other.
Sorry if that sounded like a dolphin, guys.
The water does sound like a
I
dolphin.
know. I made a
It's a magical water
I made
bottle.
a TikTok. Remember?
Oh, that's
The
right. We
dolphin
did.
TikTok. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is though.
I already guessed
Okay.
it.
So there's a super chat from Felipe Cabrera.
Felipe donated. Thank you.
CLP 3500. I don't know what that means.
It's about $5.
Where's CLP from?
I don't know.
How do you know it's about $5 then?
Because it's green.
Okay.
The color of the super chat kind of helps.
So he said that feeling when people talk about politics, but you are South American and speak the taco language. I think you call that Espanol.
Mexican?
No. First of all, Mexico is not in South America.
We used to do that joke in Spanish class.
Do you
'Cause
speak
it
a
made-
Mexican?
Do you speak the Mexican? Because it made our teacher feel really disappointed in us, and we liked that.
Because it reminded you of home and how disappointed your parents are in you.
Oh,
Burn.
ouch. Okay, that was good.
That was a very
No, like
bad dab.
there was this like survey that the school was doing, and they were going around all the classrooms, and you had to like the main goal was that you had to stay anonymous. You didn't sign your name anywhere. They just said, "What class are you in?" and then answer these questions. So everyone treated them like a joke, and they just kind of answered them stupidly. And then, in what class you're in, everyone in the entire Spanish class just wrote Mexican and turned them in. because we were like, they're anonymous. How can you know who wrote it down? So
Well, everyone wrote it down. Obviously, she's gonna know.
well, okay, it wasn't everyone. It was like
Half.
maybe a little bit less than half of the class. So it resulted in like their tournament, and then the teacher comes forward and goes, "Okay, everyone, who wrote Mexican?" And we're like looking around. What? That's so funny.
So
Oh,
many
God.
oofs in chat.
Yeah, there's a lot of oops because you roasted me, hun.
Sorry. You can roast me later.
Right. The taco language. What does that even mean?
Probably.
Get you because wait, is there a way to say taco in Spanish?
I think just taco.
But it's the same meaning in English, so.
That's because it's a food.
Mm.
A Mexican food.
Have you
right?
thought about like does Taco Bell, you know how Taco Bell has invented all these terms?
Like quesadilla?
Is
What
that
do
a
you
Taco
mean?
Bell invention?
No.
I mean like gordita. Is that a real word?
Gordita, I think that means like a little fat something. Because gordo, that means
Yeah,
fat.
that's true. Okay, that's
And
a good point.
ita
Mm-hmm.
means little. A fat little.
A fat little.
A fat little burrito.
A fat little burrito.
Let me see what it is.
What if they started translating all of
Gord-
the Taco Bell
Oh, it means
foods?
chubby.
Chalupa?
Gordito means chubby. That's what it is, right? You said gordita?
Yeah.
That just means chubby.
So it's a
And then
chubby
chalupa?
taco.
No, it literally just translates as chubby.
Yeah, but I order things at Taco Bell in the past called cheesy gordita crunch. So that's called.
So it's a chubby little cheese crunch.
These sound derogatory. They sound.
And the
mean.
other one was chalupa?
There's chalupa. There's Baja. What is Baja? Low.
Baja, I
Low?
think
Down?
maybe. Yeah.
I took 2 years of Spanish.
Baja means low, and I think it's also a part of Mexico.
So low blast.
A low blast. I don't know. That's what you're gonna get after eating Taco Bell. A low blast.
Right, you get a low blast. Oh my god.
Chalupa is a fried tortilla.
What's an empanada?
I think it's like a pie, right?
Yeah, because I'll get a caramel apple
chalupa.
empanada.
Is a fried tortilla in the shape of a boat, which can be filled with a spicy filling.
How about
I wanna eat a
nacho
boat.
fries? Have you tried nacho fries before?
Is that just fries that you dip in nacho cheese?
I think we've had them before at Taco Bell.
I like what is it, like the chicken triangles? What were those called?
I don't know. I never get those, but
They're
I know
called,
what
like,
you're talking
chicken
about.
chips or something.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Chicken chips or chicken nachos. They used to do these things where they were little.
Triangles.
They were basically chicken nuggets, except Taco Bell made them. That was the difference, and you could dunk them in cheese.
It says Baja means drop or fall.
I think we missed a super chat, hon.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we
Sorry,
got
guys.
distracted. There was a super chat earlier. Yeah, from I'm gonna try to pronounce this correctly. Forok Saga Deta.
What? Where? I'm not seeing that.
It's right here. Here. What's your dream place to live and work? Which I guess we kind of already talked about, which was why I may have forgotten about it. But I just wanted to let that person know that we appreciate the super chat.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still watching.
I want to live in Puerto Rico. And actually, I just thought of another place, SoCal.
Okay.
I'd love to visit like San Diego. I've seen a lot of pictures of beaches there.
Have you ever been there?
Nope.
You've never been to San Diego?
No, I have
Wow.
driven through California
Okay.
to Mexicali, which is basically right on the other side of the border of Mexico. And it's
Okay.
funny because there's another town right on the opposite side of the border called Calexico. So it's
Calexico?
Calexico and Mexicali.
Oh, that's weird.
We got another
Wow.
super chat from Sam, the MD.
Oh, thank you, Sam.
Sam, are you like a doctor? Like, doesn't MD mean doctor, medical doctor?
Yeah, that's what it means.
He said another 5 yet again for the nacho fries. I think this is why this guy's super chatting so much because he's got the dope.
Very generous. Very
Yeah,
generous
thank
of you
you,
guys.
Sam.
Thank you. Jesse's saying Puerto Rico is very impoverished in many areas. Have you heard about that, hon?
San Diego?
No, Puerto Rico is
Oh.
very impoverished.
I'm sure it is. Like they've been through a lot. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't there a giant power outage?
Yeah, I think I heard that because of Elon saying
Elon
he-
created the power.
No,
outage.
Elon was gonna like power the entire
Yeah.
state with his solar panels
Yeah,
or
I
something
haven't heard
like
much
that.
about that lately.
You guys probably know more about that than me, but
So I've actually been to Puerto Rico a couple
Mm-hmm.
times. My
Oh,
dad used
okay.
to live there,
Mm-hmm.
and I just have really good memories of being there. And he
Good.
lived right on the beach,
Yeah.
so we would just go to the beach every day, go swimming. I
Mm.
went boogie boarding. Oh my god, boogie boarding is so fun.
Yeah.
And we hiked in the forest. Like, I'm sure not everyone, is living the great life, but as an American, I feel like we would be living a pretty good life over there.
Taylor's of Music is amazing. He
What'd he
says
say?
Elon creates power outages to power the cities.
He's creating his own demand right there.
Right. He's
It's
like,
amazing.
you'll all buy electric cars if there's no gas cars left. He just destroys all
Right.
the other gas cars. He just goes around destroying them. What does Nick Ann Sweeney do for a living? He's an
a
accountant.
boss.
He's a he's a level 100 mafia boss.
He is.
That's what he does. That's how mafia works.
Nick
No, he's
wears
a-
many hats. He's like a lawyer
Mhm.
and a doctor and a
I don't know where you got that he's a doctor. Are you making that up?
but the lawyer part. He was like a lawyer's assistant.
He's
right?
good with law, and I think he's primarily an accountant, though.
Mhm. Which is
But-
crazy. He's like 20 years old and an accountant.
He's younger than me, if you can believe it.
Yep.
It just makes everyone sad. That's what successful young people do. It makes old people feel depressed
Why?
because they keep thinking, "Well, why didn't I just do that?"
Right.
I could.
Well, YouTube wasn't a thing back then, so what could you
Yeah,
have
but it just
been?
makes all their previous work feel like, well, that didn't matter.
Well, not necessarily. Like,
Some people
you have
think
to
that
be
way.
happy in the effort that you're making in your life.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any effort that you're making.
Effort's important, but like I've I've only seen as younger generations get, there's more and more rich people. Isn't that kind of bizarre?
What do you mean? More and more rich people? Like younger
Like,
people?
More and more now, I can think of people that have more money that are younger.
Oh, yeah,
than
for
ever
sure. I
before.
mean, in YouTube culture.
Like you've heard about some of my fans I've collabed with that are like 12 years old and they have so much money.
That's not necessarily from their own efforts, though. If you're 12,
No,
I'm
but I
guessing your
just mean-
parents, like, pay for your way.
Right. Right. Well, I don't know the specifics of it, but like I'm just saying the ability, the amount of money they have access to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not
is
jealous of
insane.
them, considering, like, there are babies that have millions based off of their parents' income.
You talking about Culture? Cardi
Culture?
B's child?
Oh, yeah. Is Cardi B a billionaire yet?
Is Culture one of those kids that's going to turn into an actor one day and I'm going to look at him and be like, I remember when
think it's
Culture
a
was
girl.
born. Or when she's going to turn into a popular actress.
Or a singer, rapper?
It's going to show up on my Instagram. It's going to be like, it runs in the genes with that emoji that's like, you know,
No.
it's like, it runs in the family. Like, I always see those weird posts. Can you not, like, do a mukbang on Swedish food?
Will mukbang Swedish food?
Okay, we will not, because you asked
Was that-
specifically.
I don't think English is his first language.
No, that's very common in our audience, actually. yeah.
Forrock Saga Data. So does he mean, like, we should do a Swedish mukbang?
Well, he said, can you not, like, do... So, I assume
My
that...
mind. Someone explain that.
How do we explain this?
Yes.
How does it work?
For 20 sec, we will not do a mukbang of Swedish food.
SEK is, I think, Swedish currency. I could be wrong. Why can't... Okay, Google, in all your power and intelligence, if you're so smart, why can't they translate the currency that people donate in? Because we're not getting it in that currency.
$2. That's how much 20 seconds are.
Did you look it up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
$2.15.
Well, I could have told you that, but I just mean that why can't Google translate it there? Because that's what they do. That's like their thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like
They
currency
could do that.
translation.
That's just too much work on their part, I guess.
That's too much work.
Well, you have to think there's like so many people who are YouTubers in other countries, so they
Yeah.
literally have to be translating in like. Or
How many
converting it.
currencies are there?
I will look it up.
Okay.
Google is on my fingertips.
Using Google. Come on, Google. That would be too much work. Like optimizing the pixel, that would just be too much. So they don't bother.
180.
Okay, they could handle that. That's fine. How like, I don't know. I just think. Do you think it's safe to say the majority of YouTubers are in the U.S.?
I don't know about the demographics.
Okay,
I'd
I
say
could be
there's
wrong.
a bunch in India, considering just the mass.
But there's one
people.
big one. T
PewDiePie.
series. No, PewDiePie's not in India. He almost lost yesterday. I was really nervous.
What's the gap now?
Last I checked, okay, there's a follow-up super chat from Fork who says, "Men can you?" Okay, thank you for clearing that up. Last I checked, it was around like 60,000 today, but yesterday it got down to 9.
Like 9 subscribers or 9,000?
9,000. Sorry.
What if it was down to like
actual
9?
Okay, YOLO Piops coming in with the numbers, who says it's at 86,000, which is good. But yeah, they said it was like
funding this guy's success by like spamming everyone to subscribe to him. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. I think
really
it's more
incredibly smart. Like,
what's that?
By having like an enemy to go against. Like
he's really, probably gained more subscribers than ever because of T-Series.
Yeah, if there was no like debate between them two, like he probably would have been more stagnant.
That's true. I remember because for a long time he wasn't really growing that fast until this T-Series thing picked up, and then it exploded. But yeah, I think it's more than just him than this kind of battle's about. I think it's more of just people are like, they're kind of fed up with the corporate channels that kind of port all their stuff over, like music videos and cable TV, and they just upload clips, and then they become 10 million, 20 million subscriber channels. And a lot of people just don't want that to be the main thing. And as long as PewDiePie's #1, they can say like, okay, like the creator is still the biggest, you know, like the biggest channel on YouTube is still like a guy reacting to memes in his office. That's it. Like
it's more down to earth.
It's more down to earth. So it's not necessarily that people love PewDiePie specifically, although I like his content. It's more of like the cause that people are in support of like, don't let giant corporations be the king. Don't let giant enterprise be the biggest channel. Let it be some weird guy from the UK who just watches memes. Who's Swedish.
It almost kind of seems like a race thing to me. Like Indians versus everyone else.
There's a lot of Indians that have supported him, but
that's true. I don't really keep up with it as much, although I am subscribed to him. So
good. Thank you, hon. Appreciate it.
I do it for you, babe.
I do it for you, babe. No, that would be like if we did a 90 Day Fiance thing. That would be like the deciding factor. If she doesn't subscribe to PewDiePie,
I'm taking
that's
the
a deal
back.
breaker. You can take your ring and get out of this house.
Oh my gosh, it's so dramatic.
Oh, we're coming up to the end of the show, aren't we?
Yeah, we have 3 episodes left.
And they're like 2 hours in total or something.
There's one episode that's 50 minutes long.
I assume the show's still going.
Yeah, that show is too strong to die.
What if they change the law?
They turn it into what, like 120 Day Fiance?
Or
a 5-year fiance?
Politicians are like watching the show and they're like, let's make this more interesting.
We need to have a bill reform because of this show. We have seen the flaws in our writing.
7 Day Fiance. We're going to turn it into you had to get married in a week.
90 seconds fiance. Oh my goodness.
We're like, let's just make this way worse for the creators.
Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Can we talk about this?
Have you gone to Chuck E. Cheese recently?
No. I've been to Chuck E. Cheese like once in my life. And
then
they closed down.
Oh, they closed?
Well, the local one.
Okay. Yeah, I went to one.
Have you heard the controversy about Chuck E. Cheese pizza?
There's a controversy around it? What is it?
Yes. So Shane Dawson.
I haven't heard this. Okay.
Shane Dawson had another, like, what is that?
Big fan of this Taylosive Talks channel.
Oh, I know. He used your voice.
Stole my content. Shane Dawson is a #1 Taylosive fan, but yeah. So what did our good friend, my good friend, close friend Shane Dawson say about Chuck E. Cheese?
So he uploaded a conspiracy theory video. I mean, this is like his shtick. He just like has a 2-hour video talking about different conspiracies. And there's one that Chuck E. Cheese like recycled their pizza, and like
how so?
Any
what do you
pizza
mean recycled?
That wasn't like sold, they would put together to like make a whole pizza and then resell it. I don't know if that makes sense, really.
Do they like sell pizza like Pizza Hut, or do they? I thought Chuck E. Cheese just brought pizza to the table.
I don't know exactly how it works, but I've just seen the photos of like the whole pizza that they would serve people, and the edges wouldn't match up, so you could tell it's like different slices being put together to pretend that it's like a whole pizza. But
Is that bad?
kind of. I
I'm
mean,
kind of gross, but
what if like they had a pizza from last night and then they served it to you today? And I mean, that's just like gross.
so was his evidence of this simply based on like the crust not
Pictures.
aligning?
And like the pepperoni's not aligning. Like it would be like a half a pepperoni next to just cheese. You'd have to here. Let me
Okay,
look up the picture
that's
for
a good point. Okay, I could see that. I'd be a little confused if it was just the crust, but if pepperoni is cut off on one slice and it's not on the other, that's a little bizarre.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
a
I
good
was
point.
skeptical at first, but then I saw the pictures of it, and then I was like, okay, maybe he's got a point.
Well, ours closed down a while ago, so that
Yeah.
would then
For like different reasons, though.
yeah, they probably Chuck E. Cheese probably isn't doing that well just for the sake of they're not a great business and kids want to play video games.
Okay, so look at the pepperonis on this.
Okay, I'll take a look. Yeah,
It just looks
Maybe.
weird, right? It looks like a bunch of different slices that they put together to create a whole pizza.
you guys can look this up yourselves.
I mean, I'm not that elitist. I'd still eat the pizza, honestly.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't bother that. Do you think they'd at least bake it again? Because it would be super noticeable if one piece was super warm and the other piece was really cold.
Oh yeah. I mean,
So-
they have like little heater things that like.
Yeah. Well. All I'm saying is, while it may be gross, they're probably killing at least the germs and stuff that the old pizza would pick up. I'm a little bit disgusting,
Oh,
ladies
no
and
doubt
gentlemen.
about that. Sorry.
No, I just mean like
We're all disgusting.
I've
guys.
I've eaten a lot of things off the floor.
Oh,
Like
gosh.
I'll eat.
I need to
stuff.
reconsider the next time I kiss you.
Day old pizza is still good. Hey,
That's true.
we'll eat old
Especially
pizza.
If you have a toaster oven, it's like brand new.
That's
You
true.
This is my trick. I microwave it for
Mhm.
like 30 seconds or a minute,
Yeah.
and then I pop it in the toaster oven at like a really hot degree, like 450 or something.
You like the toaster oven.
Yeah, because it just makes everything extra crispy.
For sure.
Crispy and good.
Team Crispy.
Hashtag Team Crispy.
Hashtag that's not what John meant when he made that shirt.
Yes,
But still.
it is. He
Team
loves
Crispy.
pizza. Actually, no,
No,
he
that-
looks like he has not had carbs in like 3 years.
No, when I went to John Morrison's office, he did nothing but drink protein shakes. I never saw him eat,
That
and that's
worries
not a joke.
me. Like people who are relying on protein shakes, like you're not feeding your body anything.
Well, how else are you gonna look like Shaggy with those buff biceps?
I'm buff.
I'm buff. Yeah,
Jeez,
No,
someone
but-
asked how old you are. How old are you?
I'm still 20.
Are
For
you
the
sure?
people who are like, when's Drew's
At
birthday?
the time of filming this, he is still 20.
I'm not 21 yet, but I'll be 21
Oh,
later.
we never answered that question about if we would do the Swedish mukbang.
I don't know what would we eat. Oh,
Swedish meatballs,
okay.
an IKEA chair.
Oh, we're going to IKEA.
No, we're gonna eat the IKEA chair.
I've vlogged in IKEA. I've vlogged eating there. That should that count?
Not the same.
What the things you would like to see in Sweden?
Mountains, Swedish mountains,
Yeah,
and maybe Drew's family. He has extended relatives there.
yeah, very extended. I wouldn't know. Didn't we talk to my grandma about that? And
Yeah,
she
we
said
tried
she
to do the
doesn't know
family
anyone
tree.
there.
Well, we need to start using Facebook and like
Oh,
delving
Facebook.
back. But
Even my grandma doesn't know.
do you remember
anyone
when
in
we watched The
Sweden.
Ritual? That was a creepy
Ooh,
movie.
That was a creepy.
but that was
reviewed
based
that.
in Sweden.
It was?
I'm pretty sure. Like the
Okay.
Swedish mountains.
Yeah, I think it was
looks really
definitely
pretty,
close to
but,
Sweden.
Like creepy.
But
Like,
yeah.
are there actually like witches and like witchcraft stuff there?
Hmm.
That kind of stuff scares me.
Yeah, the son of Loki is in the woods. He looks like a moose with
The
human.
Son of Loki. What do you mean?
That was the monster in Ritual. Remember
Who's Loki?
Thor's brother?
He has a son who's a moose.
He has a son that looks like a moose except with human hands. You remember the monster in the Ritual?
I remember the monster in the video. Or
that was
the
a good movie.
I just don't understand how that relates to Loki at all.
They said in the movie they were like they worship this is a god. Those people in the
Okay,
village.
not the Loki that we think of. Not like the character Loki
Well, the character Loki is what they were referring to.
from the Marvel series.
Marvel borrowed Thor and Loki from Scandinavian
Okay.
like stories.
So I'm saying I don't want to imagine Loki with the long black hair. Like, I
No,
want
not Tom Hiddleston. That's a
Yes.
different kind of Loki.
Okay, that's where I was
But
confused.
that's one interpretation of the same Loki, though, they're referring to. Marvel's is obviously a much more family-friendly action hero version of Loki, but it's kind of like making the comparison to Zeus, you know?
Right.
Like,
But they haven't made that into a Marvel character yet.
not a Marvel character. Zeus doesn't exist there. But Zeus is like in movies and in cartoons, and there's lots of different
Norse gods.
Norse gods. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. Loki and Thor are Norse gods. Thank you, Michael. Why does someone keep asking about air power? This is why I want it to come out. I don't even want it. I just want them to stop asking about it. Does air power look good to you?
Or is it just that flat thing?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That could be
I'm so
referred
good
to
at
as a lot of things.
describing.
It's a big white pad that's in the shape of an oval, and you can drop your watch, your AirPods, and your phone, and it
I
would
don't
charge
understand how that works because, like, my watch has a, a
them.
curved glass back.
Mm-hmm.
So doesn't it need to be like flat on flat?
Well, this would be a charger that's designed differently so that it could charge the watch on a flat surface.
Okay, it's more like the distance doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Or the touching.
Well, some people have told me that an Apple Watch could charge on a Qi charger, but they just intentionally make it so that it can't. But I don't believe them because the coils are too small.
Right.
I've tried to line things up on Qi chargers before. They have to be kind of specific, and if
Right.
the coils, particularly, I think a lot of people forget that there's smaller versions of this. Like the 40 millimeter watch is really small coils, and if a Qi charger could charge a coil that tiny, I don't think so. I don't think it would work, but.
I don't even know what the coils look like inside.
They're very tiny. Yeah. They're like the size of your ring. But yeah, once again, for the 80th time, people are all like, air power's in production. And I don't know.
I mean, I'd be
believe it.
interested for you to get one just so we can try it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you can fit 2 iPhones on it, right?
I think so. I mean, potentially 3, right?
So that would save some space because we have like a bunch of chargers now.
Yeah.
We have 2 just regular Qi chargers, and then we have the watch charger. So
What do
it's
you think
basically
something
3
like
to
that?
1.
What do you think something like that should cost?
$5.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
that's a
I'm
good
cheap.
deal. I would love AirPower if it was $5. That's a good deal.
But realistically, I think like 150 to 200 range.
Okay.
Considering the Pixel, was it the Pixel
Stand.
that was like $80 just for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I personally find that pretty expensive. Even though it's nice, it's pricey.
Right.
But yeah, regardless. AirPower may or may not come out, but yes, Louise uses a Series 3 Apple Watch.
Yes. And I have my white watch band to match my white case.
Ooh,
'Cause I'm
ecosystem.
an elitist. I'm kidding. I'm not an elitist. I just
We
like,
actually go ahead. You should finish that before I cut you off.
okay. I just like white as an aesthetic. Like I like white furniture, white walls. Like Drew can attest to this. I don't really like much decoration on the wall.
You're very clean. You like things to be minimal,
Yes.
which is great because under all these soundproofing tiles is just white.
No, I like what you did with this room.
Thank you.
We painted it.
Yeah, we painted this
don't
room
like it.
together. What?
I don't like it.
Why not?
You said thank you.
Oh, can we explain that finally?
Yes.
We keep making this reference to I think that was season 1. Was
Yeah,
it
one of the
season 1 of 90
earlier
Day Fiancé?
seasons.
Provide some context. How did this go?
So there was this couple on 90 Day Fiancé.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Alan and I don't remember the girl's name.
Mm-hmm. I don't either.
She was
terrible at that.
Brazilian and she's gorgeous. Like she had fair skin, brown hair, blue eyes, and the guy wanted her to model. And so he took her to this like modeling agency and had her do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
And he was calling her and like obviously she couldn't answer him because she was working.
Yeah.
And later he got mad and he came and he picked her up and he was telling her like, you look really pretty, because she had all this makeup on from the shoot. And
He
she's
said
like,
you look too pretty when you model.
yeah. And she's like, thank you. Because like, I don't think it translated over quite as
Yeah.
well because she's not like
He
a
was
native.
saying it in a concerned way.
Yeah, like,
He's like, you look too pretty
yeah,
when you
like
model.
too many guys are going to look at you.
And
But she just thought it was a compliment. So she's like, thank you.
She went, "Thank you."
And then he's like, I don't like it.
He had to like reaffirm his point by saying like, "No, I'm saying this in a bad way."
Yeah.
Which just made me laugh so much because
Yeah.
they
So
were.
every time someone says, thank you, I say, I don't like it.
I don't like it. So we
That's the
say that a
inside
lot.
joke.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to say this for the rest of my life. To the
Why?
people who keep asking about the Magic Mouse in the iPad, they are not connected. The Magic Mouse is connected to the Mac Mini off camera that is managing the live stream. That's what the keyboard's connected to. iPad is simply here to read the chat. Oh my God. They're gonna keep asking that. We're gonna need to put it in text in the bottom of the screen now.
Like those broadcast network things, like the little
ticker.
banner.
The Magic Mouse is
Like,
not connected to
Anything
the
we don't want to
iPad.
say, like anything that's been answered so many times, like how old is Drew?
How old is Drew? Louise is using an Apple Watch Series 3. Product red 8 plus 64 gig white silicone case. Yeah, we would have to just like answer every single.
Right. This is why we need the banner.
This will work. Just every like Drew does not care about jailbreaking. That's what I need on tech streams because people keep asking.
Really?
That was a meme in the attic. Back in the attic days, people were like, "Do you jailbreak, Drew?" I'm like, "No, I don't." And here we are. It's like years later.
Oh,
The thing is, if we had an FAQ section, no one would read it. They would just type the questions in the chat
that's
anyway.
true.
That's the sad thing. There was like, the music that plays before my tech stream that I dance to.
Yeah.
I put the name of the song right beneath the Taylosive T on the countdown. It's like this person, this album, this artist, if people want to check it out. And I still get people in the chat that say, "What song is this?"
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can plaster the answer in someone's face and they'll be like,
Right.
"What? What? Where? What?"
It just takes awareness, people.
It does. It takes awareness. But okay, I'm glad we finally explained the.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know if people were actually wondering about that, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Right. What else do we need to get to today? We wanted to talk a bit about which one? I can't.
We need a
decide
light
which-
topic to end this.
We need a light top. Okay.
To end me.
Well, we had a meme of the day, but it's not very family friendly.
Wait, I might
We'll
have another one.
Okay.
Let me see.
Does Louise have a meme of the day? She browsing a bit.
Just give me a
Oh,
second.
it is Valentine's Day. Originally, you weren't going to have to work. You were going to have to work on Valentine's Day, and that's why we were celebrating it on the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
But you had the best thing happen this morning
Oh, it was last night.
or last night.
Yeah, I checked my email and they're like, "Your overtime is canceled." And I get to sleep in.
Yes.
It's
No
kind of
work.
dangerous though,
Yeah.
because then we sleep until like 9.
Oh my God. It
Well, I didn't.
Was it 9?
I woke up at like 7:30.
We woke up together.
I went back to bed after being awake for like half an hour.
Oh yeah.
But there are certain reasons I have to get up before you do, which is okay.
No, it's fine. But I like to get up with you at the same time, if at all possible. The Talks podcasts are longer than the Tech podcast, probably because there's more we can talk about. With Talks, we can kind of chat about whatever we want. With Tech, you're kind of limited. And honestly, trying to fit enough topics and conversation within a hour time frame is difficult enough as it is. So if we can get a Tech podcast longer than an hour, that's kind of impressive for us, to be honest. But the good news is, Louise is just browsing for a meme. Take your time,
This is too hard.
Take your no. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
give up.
Okay.
We need
Well,
to do this outside of when we're actually doing this.
Yes, we should. But the problem is all our memes are too dank.
Too dank for your eyes, people.
The Twitch streams I do, which are usually about an hour, the Talos of Tech Twitch streams, we're taking the audio from those and we're going to put them on a Apple Podcasts. We just have to wait for them to get approved by Apple, which should take like less than a week now. So if you want more tech talk on the go, there will be
TikToks.
Or TikToks and Tech Talk. There will be plenty. So there will be the Talos of Tech podcast, and then there will also be the Twitch stream audio that people can listen to. So we're going to have all kinds of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of tech, do you miss the Pixel 3?
I do sometimes. Because there's some really like nifty features it had that the iPhone just can't offer me.
It's true. I hope iOS 13 helps you with some of that, but
yeah, I
we'll
hope
see.
so.
What's funny is people were asking about where they can listen to our podcasts. And I was like, okay, it's on Apple Podcasts, your standard podcast app. But also, if you're on Android, you can listen on SoundCloud. And for some reason, certain Android people don't like using SoundCloud. So they're like, what else? Isn't it on Spotify? And it's actually a lot harder to get a podcast on Spotify. So
Really?
no.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think they're just a bit more,
Limited server space?
maybe not limited, but they have harsher guidelines. Like
About
not
what
anyone can
constitutes?
do it. Yeah. They don't want just anyone putting podcasts on.
So is it like the amount of listeners or amount of time listened to? Like how do they
I'm not
decide?
sure. I'm not sure
should
the
look into
reasoning.
that.
I should look into it. In regards to like posting podcasts, it's not really my specialty. Usually I hand it off to Nick and Sweeney and he does his magic to it. But people like YOLO were saying, you know, I use Google Podcasts. Is the Taylosive podcast available there? And I was like, I don't know, while filming the latest vlog. But then I grabbed the Pixel 3 and I was like, let me check Google Podcasts. So I download the Google Podcasts app on Android and I look it up and I see it right there, Taylosive Talks. There's our latest episode. And I go, oh, sweet, cool. I'll put this in the video. I'll be like, by the way, the Talks podcast is also on Google Podcasts.
Okay.
And so I tap on it. The app crashes. Trying to
Google?
play a podcast.
Oh, I thought you were gonna tell me something worse, like someone like pretended to be you and
Oh, that would be
uploaded,
funny.
like horrible things under the premise that it was
Oh,
you.
yeah. No, that would be bad if someone went in our place. But no, I just thought it was funny that Google Podcasts app couldn't run for like 3 seconds on the Pixel 3. And I was like, I'm not even using this as my daily. Like, I've barely touched it. It just kind of
Right.
sits on the desk. And
Wait, don't blame the Pixel.
whose fault is it?
Maybe the server or something.
Who owns the server?
Internet? I mean, blame Google, but don't blame the phone itself. It's a nice phone.
But it crashed things a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
I just thought it
So?
was funny that I picked it up for like 30 seconds and I already got a crash like that quickly.
Yeah.
I was able to load the app up again and get it to play, so I know it's not something wrong with our podcast, but I just thought it was funny that it was like I barely touch it, use it again for like 1 minute. It's already crashed, but we were using pickup lines last night. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, weren't they like anti-pickup lines or
Oh,
just
yeah.
regular?
What's the definition of an anti-pickup line exactly?
It's like instead of wanting someone in your life, it's like get away from me as far as possible.
So what did you use? You used a good one.
Well, you said something, and then I said, "Are you the sun? Because stay like 300 million miles away from me."
Yeah.
I don't know if that's how far away the sun
I think
is.
it's 30 million, but you could be right. I could be wrong. There's something like that. My question is, has a pickup line ever successfully worked?
Yes, I feel like people do it like not sarcastically, but like ironically, and then somehow it's funny. Like I've seen like Tinder chats, just screenshots of people's Tinder chats, and it looks like it goes well if you say something really punny and cheesy. Like
Okay.
that's how our generation is, I think.
Like
We
you
like that.
approached me for the first time with a pickup line.
No, it was not.
It wasn't.
Not intentional.
It wasn't good, but it was a pickup line.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was just a
Oh
statement.
my goodness. It
What
was a
was it?
statement. It was not a pickup line.
What was it?
I said, "You look like Ron Weasley," or maybe something like, "Has anyone ever told you look like Ron Weasley?"
Yeah. Which is funny. I was going through comments the other day and people were still saying that. And now I
Really?
think of that comment differently.
No,
'cause
he looks so weird now. What Rupert
Grint.
Grint.
We were watching a show with him in it. What was
Sick
it?
Note.
Sick Note.
Sicko Note.
Sicko Note. Would you recommend Sicko Note? Did you like that show?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Didn't we
I-
like binge that? We started
Yeah,
it and finished it in one day.
Either 1 or 2 days. Yeah.
Was it 2 seasons we went through?
2 seasons
That show, what did we watch it on?
on Hulu, I think.
If
Or
you have
maybe
Hulu, you can
Netflix.
watch Sicko Note with Rupert Grint.
Sick No, not Sicko Note.
Sorry, you said it. You got it stuck
It
in my
might
head
be on
now.
Netflix, guys. Might not be on Hulu.
I think it's. You're right. You know what? I think it
I
is
don't
Netflix.
know,
I think you're
man.
right. I don't know,
I'll look it
man.
up.
But it's basically Breaking Bad as a comedy. That's how I would describe
Yeah,
that show.
they even had an episode called Breaking Bad.
The
Do you remember
show
that?
is basically is very close to Breaking Bad. They were borrowing a
Netflix.
lot. Okay, it is on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix original. But it was pretty funny. Everyone on the show was a terrible person though.
Yeah, there wasn't really like a character you could root for.
Not really.
There's a lot of death.
Except the professor. But he's just an idiot.
I did not like the professor. I mean, like, he was funny, but
He
he was
was
a
funny.
bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
And, like, he's definitely not a, what is it called, a Mary Sue?
He's the opposite.
He's got many flaws.
He's like he messes
he's
up
this doctor
when he
who's
shouldn't.
telling, like, awful advice or, like, misdiagnosing people.
Yeah.
No.
No, like the premise of the show is very similar to Breaking Bad. Like he finds out he has cancer and then they fall into crime and then they have to cover up the crime, but people still think he has cancer, and
He's just, like, living this lie.
obviously it's not a carbon cut copy, but for the most part there's a lot of similarities with
It's an
Breaking Bad.
iteration, almost.
But it was a pretty funny show.
Yeah, I definitely like British humor more than Drew does, though.
I think you do.
Like, I watched another show called Chewing Gum. That was really funny. To me, it was really funny. Either
Yeah.
because I'm a female or because, I don't know.
That catered to your humor
Yeah.
a lot more.
I also like the British version of The Office,
Yeah.
which you said you didn't like.
I tried it. Maybe I need to give it a better chance because I watched the British version
That's
of The
literally
Office.
the
Like,
original. How could you not like the original?
well, sometimes the remake or the re-edition can be better than the original. Name another what?
Name another one that's like the reiteration of it is better.
Ghostbusters.
I haven't watched any of them,
Okay.
so I don't know. Wait,
For those
so
who
you're
didn't
saying
know,
the new Ghostbusters with the
no,
females
I'm
are
talking
better?
about the Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray Ghostbusters.
Was that not the original?
That's a remake. A lot of people
What's
don't
the
know
original?
that. It was in the like 40s, I think.
What?
It was terrible. It was stupid.
Did
No,
you
there's
watch
a
it?
ton of movies I don't
Where
think
did you
people.
watch a 1940s movie?
I haven't watched it. I just know it's terrible. I've seen
You
it.
can't judge something without watching it.
No, I'm just saying a lot of people have made better versions of old, like True Grit.
Yeah,
That's a
but
better
I just
example.
asked you something that was better than the original. And you told me you answered
Well,
with
I was-
something you haven't even seen. That's false. That's fake news.
I agreed to you. I agreed to you that I need to give the British Office a better shot because I watched like
I'm not
3
talking
episodes.
about The Office. I'm talking about Ghostbusters because you haven't watched the original. So how would you know it's worse than
Well, I mean, you can
iteration?
know something's bad without experiencing it, right? That's fair.
That's not fair. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that the woman is always right. That's a good point.
Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. No, I'm just saying that I know how great the original Ghostbusters is, and I know that the original was not very good because no one even remembers it.
Because it's from the 1940s. Obviously,
Right, but it
most
was
of the people,
forgotten like that.
Well, hun, if you lived in the 1940s and actually experienced it,
Mm.
do you want to have a debate about this?
Yeah, no,
It's
let's
gonna
go.
down. No,
Let's go.
That's all I had to say.
Okay. No, I think that there's plenty of things. Like True Grit is another example of a Western film that I thought the remake was way better than the.
So have you seen
OG.
both?
I've seen most of the original. Yes.
Most.
I don't think it
consider
was very.
most?
It was very classic. They're both good, but I think the remake was better.
Okay. Well, you're entitled to your opinion, and I can't really defend True Grit, the
Okay.
original, because I haven't seen either.
Okay.
Also,
Both-
I don't
both
like
are good.
Western movies like at all.
I don't really love Western movies either, but I did love the more recent True Grit. I thought that was good. They always want to ask you tech questions like you care.
iPad Pros.
What do you think of the new iPads, Louise?
They're newer and iPadier.
What is people's obsession with like, I wonder what this person who doesn't care about technology thinks. It's
Hey, I
like,
care about technology, just in a different way than you do.
no, I just mean like you don't
You're
buy
rude.
them. I'm sorry. I'm not rude. I'm just
I'm
is
just
it
making
fair
fun
to
of
say
you.
you're not that interested in the new iPad? Like you didn't want to run out and buy one, did you? You didn't want to like when I bought my new iPad, you didn't really want to see
I
it.
think it's cool. The bezels are thinner.
Yep.
If I was a millionaire, I'd probably upgrade everything, honestly.
You buy
Okay,
a
maybe not
house if you were
millionaire.
a
Maybe
millionaire.
if I was a billionaire.
Okay. If you're a billionaire,
Yeah.
no, you'd still buy houses.
Houses. Multiple?
You would much rather buy a bunch of houses than iPads. I know you.
Well, it wouldn't hurt to get a new iPad. If
No.
I could afford multiple houses, yes.
So you like okay. You're the average consumer. What do you
Am I
think?
really the average though? I'm married to you, so I get to hear a lot of this.
You do.
I'm sicker than the average. Pop a straight cabbage.
Pop a straight cabbage.
I don't even know what that means. Pop a straight cabbage.
What does Louise think of quantum physics?
It exists. I don't know.
Wow, interesting viewpoint.
Did
Never
someone
thought
actually ask that?
They did.
Where?
Sam, whose profile picture is a cat.
This cat is very smart and is thinking deeper than other cats.
What's the best pickup line you could think of?
Probably like Ford F-150s. Just a line of pick. Sorry, I thought you knew that one.
Oh God, that was great. No, that's such a. I was gonna say that's such an Erickson joke.
Is it? It is. I mean, I am an Erickson now.
That's a joke I would make. That's how bad it was.
It's pretty bad. I've learned from the best.
I love those jokes.
Drew is like the pro at dad jokes without being the dad part.
I like dad jokes. They're funny.
Why are they even called dad jokes? Everyone should be able to say funny things that dads say.
Yeah, but I think dads make them the most because there's this like reputation of fathers being goofy, and a father has a very specific type of humor, I guess, stereotypically.
Well, who said that was a reputation? Like, when I think of dads, I think of like someone who's maybe strict and like has the last say in everything.
That's true.
Not that I would know.
Not all dads are the same for sure, but I mean, like, stereotypes come from something, you know. Stereotypes don't come from out of nowhere. So there were enough dads who were acting similarly for people to start calling them dad jokes to a certain extent. They were like, you know what? All these dads kind of have similar humor.
And similar fashions.
That's
Usually
true.
like khakis.
Yep.
And a button-up shirt that's tucked in. And white, like bright white sneakers with like ankle socks. Not ankle socks.
Ankle socks? I'm thinking sandals.
Oh, gross.
I'm just thinking of what my dad wears, but
wait, socks and sandals?
not socks with sandals,
Fashion
just sandals.
Suicide.
Just sandals. No
just
socks.
Sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually like Tevas. Do you remember we had matching Tevas?
We still do.
Tevas are awesome because like you can hike in them.
They are.
And you can swim in them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like my feet.
It's like all I wore in Florida.
Yeah. And you had this like really bad tan line.
I think I still do. It's like a tan line of like where the Teva ends.
The Teva line.
Yeah. That was my attempt at the sicko mode sound. Do you know what the word Teva means?
I'm guessing it's like a place, maybe?
Probably gonna find out it's something terrible. Uh-oh.
Teva's meaning.
What's my best pickup line I could think of?
Yeah, think real hard. Oh, it's the Hebrew word for nature.
Oh, that's cool.
Everything.
Oh,
in the
yeah,
world
Michael
that
just said that.
isn't man-made.
Gotcha.
Someone said
That's
that.
kind of neat. Yeah, Michael wrote that in the chat the same second you read the looked up answer. That's cool. Okay. We didn't know that. Now we know that. I'm trying to think of a good pickup line. I was really proud of the joke I made earlier because we were saying about, I think in the last podcast, it was something like Gordon Ramsay brought donuts to cut the heat.
Yeah.
And I said, sweetness doesn't cut the heat because you're sweet and you're still hot. Yeah. See, now
That's actually really good.
I'm just recycling my old ones.
That's very contextual though. Like, when would you talk about that other than like in what we were talking about?
Oh, I know one. We were watching 90 Day Fiance, and there was a guy who was like sleeping in till like 3 p.m.
Right.
And his fiance was like, "Can you get up? Can you get up? Like, we got to do stuff today. We got to do stuff today." And he was like, "Oh, babe, can you just make me a sandwich?" You know, like that classic cliche.
He said, like, "Can you make me food?"
Yeah, can you make me food? That would be nice. And he didn't want to even get out of bed. And I was like, "Oh my God, what a loser." And then I looked to you and I said, "Hey, hun." And then you looked at me and I was like, "Can you make me?" And then I paused and you were like getting kind of like you were going to smack me or something. And I was like, "Can you make me the happiest man in the world by being my wife?" And I was like, "Safe."
Hey guys, I don't actually abuse him.
No.
I never like hit him hard. Just like a light tap.
No, the hardest thing for us is saying goodbye. especially today. That
Just
was
on
rough.
my part, mostly.
Well, I don't like leaving you, but when you get more attached, it's just even harder.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, well, now I don't want to leave.
It takes us like 30 minutes to say goodbye. I'm sorry. I don't know
It's
why.
all
Like
right.
as soon as I know that you're about to leave,
Mm-hmm.
I get super like attached and like clingy.
We'll
And
have
it's
to say,
gross. Like I don't want to be like that.
I don't think it's attached and clingy. It just shows me
is.
that
I
you love
literally
me.
like when we were like hugging goodbye, I don't let go of you. And do you remember when I was like holding your hand and I was laying on the couch? And I was
Mhm.
like, bye. Why aren't you leaving?
Yeah, like, just
And I
hold,
wouldn't let go of your
hold
hand.
my hand tighter.
I
Or
don't
you'd
know.
be like, okay, one last kiss about like 8 times.
And
Be
you
like,
fall for it too, every single
well, I'm
time.
not going to say no. I love it.
I'm good.
Where did y'all
TMI.
go on your honeymoon again? Where did we go?
We went to a place called Mill Valley. It's north
That's
of
right.
San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent like 2 nights in an Airbnb.
Yeah.
It was really nice because, I don't know, it was like our first time that we were really just alone and got to do whatever we want.
We
We ate a lot
just
of donuts.
watched a ton of Netflix.
We binge watched.
F
like,
is for
F
family.
is for Family. Did we finish Big Mouth on our honeymoon?
I think we finished it before that. But yeah, we watched Big Mouth and we watched F is for Family. The funny thing about our honeymoon is we really didn't do very much.
No, I mean, we went to the beach one day,
That's true.
but we were lazy. We had like our beach chairs
Yeah.
and our blankets, and
And
we were like
donuts.
being attacked by birds. Well, not attacked, but they were like running around us.
They wanted our donuts. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can go back and watch the vlog.
Yeah,
we vlogged all this.
Yeah.
But that was a really nice honeymoon. I think because it was just such a stressful time right before the wedding.
I know.
There was so much going on,
Yeah.
both drama and wedding planning and the fire and evacuations and not knowing where the fire was going to end up. That honeymoon was just like, let's just all stop what we're doing and just relax.
Yeah.
And it was great because we needed that. It was really nice,
Mhm.
honestly, even though we didn't do a whole lot. We just kind of ate, walked around and watched TV, and I was fine with it.
Yeah. And it was a really cheap honeymoon too. Like I paid for the trip or like the housing,
Mm-hmm.
and you paid for all the food.
Which were pretty close.
Yeah.
They ended up
It's just crazy.
being pretty similar. That gives you a taste of how expensive that kind of Bay Area living is.
For sure.
That's pricey stuff.
It's fun to visit
It is. That'd be a fun trip to do
again.
some other
someday.
time. Yeah.
I like little beach towns
Mhm.
like Stinson.
Mm-hmm. That was a good beach.
Would you ever want to live in a tiny beach town? Probably not because they don't have good internet.
It's not even the internet. Even if the internet was good, I just imagine the housing is insanely expensive, and that community is very like. I just remember driving around there, everything being very packed, very closed off, and there's
Wait,
always.
really? In Stinson?
You remember the house we stayed at? How close everything was?
That wasn't. I'm talking about.
Oh,
we
you're
went to the
talking about
beach.
somewhere else.
Because Mill Valley is not really that close to the beach. That's like an
Okay.
hour away. I'm talking about when we were actually at the beach. That little town just had
Okay.
like a beachy feel.
Well, I
surf
guarantee you,
shops.
like the tiniest house you could find there is probably like $800,000.
You guarantee me, huh? I will look on Zillow.
Okay.
I'll find something cheaper.
I encourage you to find something that cheap.
800,000
It's
for
probably-
a studio? It's ridiculous.
The beach area is really,
Well, huh?
really pricey.
There's so much coast in California. I'm not
Mhm.
saying just there. Like,
Well,
could
you were
look at
saying
other
Stinson
places.
Beach specifically
No,
now,
not
but
specifically.
okay.
I'm just saying like tiny beach towns.
Mm.
Fort Bragg.
Yeah,
I've never been there, but I've heard it's nice.
yeah. They're high in demand, that's for sure. Lots of people want to go there.
Where is the place that no one wants to live? Let's go there. I bet
Antarctica, probably.
yeah,
Well,
but it's
that's-
expensive to live there because there's no rest. Like, how do you get food?
Well, exactly.
You have to
That's why I'm
Uber
saying no
Eats.
one wants to live there.
Is there Uber Eats in Antarctica?
Mars.
It's an expensive flight.
Well, did you ask what? Did you ask where
saying,
people
like,
don't want to live?
On Earth, is there a place that's like undesirable?
Here.
Wow,
We're always
you just
talking about.
roasted yourself.
No, I'm just saying, like, everyone we know is either thinking about moving or moving, and we're thinking about moving. So clearly, no one likes it enough here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's wrong with here exactly? Let's entertain this for a second.
drug problems. It's true. Really high homeless population. Nothing against homeless people.
Well, there's that in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stop
I'm saying
you.
for other people.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean,
I'm just saying
haven't decided to leave here.
let's entertain the idea for ourselves. Why not just stay where we are? Why move?
It's not interesting.
It's boring.
No, I wouldn't say it's boring. Boring people think places are boring. Like, if you're an interesting person, you'll find something to do. Like,
So you think you're not an interesting person?
no.
Or what?
I'm saying I prefer, I don't know, something that has more access to, like, the city life.
What do you mean by the city life? What's that look like to you? When you say city life, do you mean just lots of food choices and
Yeah, lots of food choices. I wouldn't even say shopping choices. I know a lot of people go to the city to go shopping.
Yeah, because I was going to say
don't
you're really not an extravagant shopper
Yeah.
or anything. So
I
that's
don't know.
why
There's just
I'm
sort of an
curious.
excitement there. Like when I went to Sydney and I
Yeah.
spent an evening there and just like seeing all the super tall buildings and like cool lights.
Mm.
And we got to go to the harbor. So there's like, water
Mm-hmm.
and to see the harbor bridge. And
Sure.
I mean, it's a little different when you're in like that iconic of a place when there's, the, what's it called? The Opera House, the Sydney Opera House.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's just, there's like a vibe. And I feel like
I can see that.
maybe not my whole life I'd want to live in that, but maybe just vacation.
Sure. Okay. Well, that's good points. Good things to come up. We've been talking a lot about where we're going to end up in regards to
Yeah.
the country and where we're going to live or move or work and things like that. So there's still so many factors to consider. And, man, I don't even think we have a runner-up,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Because you were thinking of like Washington to be close to your family. And then I brought up, why don't we move to Australia? We'll be close to my family. It's
Yeah,
like, okay, well, can't really find a compromise.
right. Well, for me, it's like Australia notoriously has bad internet, like slower than the rest of the world.
It really depends on what part you're in.
I know. I just mean
there are YouTubers everywhere.
there are.
You
There
can't
are.
say, I can't move to India because they have no internet there. Like, there's people everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I just mean I hear about it from fans all the time.
Well,
There's
those
so many
fans probably
people.
don't pay for the highest tier.
Yeah. Well, with
So-
the highest tier might be a little
Expansive,
but
pricey.
yeah, there's for me that's like
Move to a cell tower. Can we do
if
that?
if you can find a place in the world that you enjoy and you can also find like a good internet speed there,
Yeah.
then that's like I'll go. Let's do it. That's kind of my motto right now. Even though it's
Sorry,
going
what
to
was
be
the first thing again? Fast Wi-Fi.
if you could find a place in the world that you want to live and you could find
How do you define like wanting to live somewhere though? Is it the weather? Like what's
sure.
the top 3 things for you for deciding where you want to live?
upload speed,
Mm-hmm.
download speed, and bandwidth. No, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. Upload, cost of living.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a
with you
big
on
one.
that.
That's another thing I find attractive about Washington is that the cost of living is much lower, even than here.
Mhm.
You can find houses for about the same price as here. It's not far from the city. The place that I'm talking about, I'm not going to say because I don't want to get anyone excited. But the city, I'm talking about, where my family hangs out.
Mhm.
Their energy bill is so much lower. The like cost of electricity there is so low compared to here.
How much is it though? Like give me a dollar amount.
Like a percentage rise.
No, dollar amount. $20?
Well, that's a variable. I need to give you a ratio.
Well, I'm saying we pay $100. That's not that much.
Okay, I'm saying that if you paid $100 here, it would be $25 there. That's the ratio.
How do you find that ratio? Like how did
'Cause
you
I-
come
I-
up with that?
My sister has my sister and Nate Nab. They
Right.
have a house, and we talked about what their electric bill is.
How much are they actually paying? Do you know?
It's a fraction for the kilowatt hour.
I know you're saying that.
I don't
but
remember it off the top of my head, but I can confirm to you it was like a quarter of what it is here. It's not much.
Okay.
I don't have the exact number, but I'm just
Honestly,
saying
like
that it was
rent's
very
probably
little.
like the biggest thing.
But that'll
I
be
look-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, cheaper rent over cheaper power because
Mhm.
obviously you're not going to pay as much for power
Right.
as you are for rent.
Right. But I'm just saying that like the rent prices up there were pretty close to here. They were almost the same. So that's something that attracts me to the north is that the property tax can be a lot lower up there than here. California has really bad
I
taxes.
think there are some states that have no property tax.
There are. I think Washington is one of them actually. But yeah, cost of living, I guess, if we're talking about my top 3 things. So Wi-Fi, cost of living, and then the third would be
Family? I know you want to be.
yeah, maybe close to family.
close.
Okay, you know what my third is?
Yes.
What you think? My third most important thing is
Wow,
making
that's
sure
good.
that you're in a place that you enjoy being in and that you're happy there, because honestly that's more important than upload, to be fair with you. I don't
Well-
want a place that has good cost of living, good upload if you don't want to be there. That's
Right.
the main thing.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Well, I'm going to be cliche and cheesy and say that, it doesn't matter where we go. As long as I'm with you, I'll be happy.
Oh, thank
in
you,
this
hon.
room. Let's live in this room forever.
Cool. I like it. There's a couch
Just
here.
this room, though.
Just this room. There's a
This
couch.
is my kitchen.
This is it. Look at all
We've
those
got
chickens.
bananas
Bruh.
and avocados.
Man, this is our longer than the last podcast. Do you want to wrap up?
Oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock.
Almost.
I need to go to bed.
Yeah, we got to get ready to go, but guys. But thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Do you want to close this off?
What
You
should I
you
say?
open us up. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Well, thank you for watching, guys. This has been the Talos of Tech
Nope.
Talks. Sorry, Freudian slip there.
Yeah, yeah.
This has
You
been
got
the
it.
Talos of Talks podcast. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.